Lin Zaiasu stood in front of Dongzi, whose nostrils were also bleeding, along with brain matter oozing out. Just as Xinyu had said, in this base, the genetic people, and even the researchers who weren't genetic people, had chips implanted in their brains. Someone was remotely controlling them. When an enemy invades, they would certainly counterattack. If the counterattack failed and the enemy captured this stronghold, they would remotely trigger the self-destruct program, leaving nothing of value alive for the intruders. The only thing of value was probably the computer. Last time at Lao Mountain, Xinyu failed to stop the computer program from destroying itself because time was too tight. By the time she arrived, the self-destruct program had already run 90%, leaving her less than a minute. But today the situation was a bit different. Today the computer's self-destruction program had just begun. If it followed the same speed as last time, she had close to 10 minutes. Xinyu shouted, "Look down on who. If I can't stop it today, I'll take your surname." Shu, a shadow, disappeared. She had gone to the outer hall. Zhao Zhen followed her, providing protection. Lin Zaiasu's gaze shifted to the right. "There's something over there, go and check it out." Chang Yi and number 88 followed Lin Zaiasu to the right. It was pitch black on the right side, but as they approached, they witnessed a bizarre scene. Inside a giant glass container, there were shockingly 7 children. These children had various tubes plugged into them and were violently tumbling in the yellow liquid, similar to what? Like mudfish lacking oxygen in a murky mud pond. These are probably the children 9-headed snake abducted from all over. Number 88 had a very grim complexion. "The liquid in this container should be the solution used for cultivating super gene people," Chang Yi said. Lin Zaiasu said, "The program has self-destructed, cutting off the oxygen supply. We need to get them out quickly." Chang Yi raised her hand, revealing dragon scale in her grip. Whoosh. She sliced through the glass container, and the yellow liquid spilled all over the floor. The twisted little bodies almost simultaneously stopped flailing and slumped lifelessly onto the ground. These children, the oldest no more than 10, the youngest probably just 3 or 4. Naked they lay on the ground, like dead fish strewn about. Above Chang Yi's eyeglasses, light flitted in and out. She took photos on site, uploaded them instantly, conducted real-time analysis. Quickly, a conclusion was reached. All these children are missing youngsters reported to the police. This one is a child lost from Fengcheng 3 months ago. His name is Liu Yuxin, and his family is said to be from an ancient martial family. She pointed straight at a boy around 5 or 6 years old. "Let's take them away. Xinyu doesn't have much time," number 88 said. "Okay." 7 children. Lin Zaiasu carried 2 bigger ones. Number 88 carried 3 smaller ones, and Chang Yi once again revealed a nearly illusionary skin in her palm. The next moment, she was behind a rock. Probably half a minute later, she reappeared no longer in her battle form but in the image Lin Zaiasu first saw her in, covered in a layer of synthetic human skin, picking up the remaining 2 children. The 3 of them swiftly rushed out of the large cave. In the outside hall, bodies were strewn about the floor, almost everyone's mouth and nose bleeding. In front of Xinyu, the computer screen displayed something very peculiar. In the top left corner was the 9-headed snake's exclusive emblem, a laughing skull amidst crossed bones that sent chills down the spine. However, it was different from what they saw last time. This skull was very blurry, as if countless worms were nibbling at it, the devilish laughter intermittent, seemingly under severe interference. Devouring demon worm virus, Cheng Yi's eyes shone. This girl's used the latest computer virus. It seems there is really hope for a breakthrough. Number 88 laughed. "Let's get these out first." They moved through the tumultuous cavern, returning to Ziwei Villa. Outside, the 8 robots had already transported the unconscious villa owner and his people into the flying vehicle. When Lin Zaiasu and the others placed the 7 children on the flying vehicle, they realized that the captured genetic people were not just unconscious. They all bled from mouth and nose, bereft of life. The entire base had no survivors, except for the 7 children, 5 boys and 2 girls. These children, according to Chang Yi's explanation, were intended to be used as matrices for creating super gene people. What is a matrix? It means selecting children with superior talents and laying the foundation through unique methods, somewhat similar to laying the foundation in martial arts. Only after this would the actual transformation begin. They were currently at the first stage, merely matrices, not yet truly transformed, and of course they didn't have chips installed. That's why they could survive. What should we do with these children? That was Lin Ziyasu's question. Chang Yi hesitated for a while. According to normal logic, these children need to be returned to their parents, but they've already undergone half of the transformation and are unsuitable for a normal life. So, the ideal solution is to make them the ones who alter the course. The ones who alter the course, what are they? Lin Ziyasu asked. Chang Yi smiled gently. The so-called ones who alter the course simply means to alter their path, take them back to Qianlong, see their transformation through to the end, only not as assassins for nine-headed snake, but to remain in Qianlong as Q Long. Lin Ziyasu felt quite emotional internally. These children's abduction by nine-headed snake was their misfortune. Being rescued should be their fortune. But some things are not so simple. They have already undergone a halfway transformation. In fact, they are no longer ordinary people. To have them return to their parents to that ordinary society would be very risky. Why? Because they are stronger, faster, and more robust. Without proper guidance, they could inadvertently harm other children. They possess strength that their peers cannot have, and it could easily make them violent. What's even more fatal is that the medicine also has negative effects. Without follow-up conditioning, their lives could be in danger. Therefore, the only solution is to bring them back to Qianlong, to complete their transformation. That is to say, from the day they were kidnapped by the nine-headed snake, they have lost the right to be ordinary children. They are destined to become weapons. The only difference is whether they will be held in the hands of the nine-headed snake as a blood spear to subvert Daxia, or in the hands of Qianlong to serve as the shield that protects Daxia. This is their fate. 10 minutes later, someone emerged from that second-floor room. Xinyu, the proud and confident Xinyu. Chang Yi's eyes immediately sparkled. As Xinyu's best friend, she is fully familiar with Xinyu's body language. This proud and confident demeanor can only mean one thing: success. She stopped the computer from self-destructing. She had obtained the data of this stronghold. Xinyu ascended the stairs step by step. When she reached the rooftop, she stood with her hands clasped behind her, as 88 quietly observed. Chang Yi looked at her spirited appearance with a somewhat strange expression, almost jealous. Lin Ziyasu watched with an amused look on his face. May I ask, instructor? Xinyu cleared her throat. How many points do I have initially? 398, replied number 88. Lin Ziyasu's eyes widened. When we last parted, you had 850, didn't you? In less than a month, you're down to 398. How did you mess up like this? You're quite sharp, little brother. Xinyu patted his shoulder, bringing up the most sore point. That's just asking for trouble. If it were in the past, I'd have to set you straight, but today I am unusually tolerant and don't even care. Do you know why? Why is that? Lin Ziyasu played along. Xinyu's chest puffed up even more. Because all the humiliation, all the unwillingness from now on will disappear like eastward flowing water. I'm about to become an official member. Becoming an official member, do you have enough points? Lin Ziyasu furrowed his brows. Let me do the math for you. Xinyu's gaze swept over 88. Starting with 398 points, in this operation, I've taken down 5 genetic people. According to the reserve chapter, each genetic people is worth 100 points. That's 500 more, making it 898. Don't forget, I've also made a significant contribution. The reserve chapter states that whoever obtains the enemy's top-secret data will be rewarded with 200 points. May I ask, instructor number 88, does this data count as top secret? She casually took off her glasses and tossed them to 88. Caught them and put them on. Nodding lightly, it counts. Huh? With a loud cheer, Xinyu sprang into the air, almost hitting the ceiling of the hoverbike before gracefully landing, using her hand to break her fall. Her face brimmed with smugness. Instructor, hurry and exercise your last power to submit my application for official membership. Shook her head gently. You don't have enough points. The smile on Xinyu's face disappeared suddenly, her eyes widening. I've just done the math, 1,098 points. That's over the 1,000-point mark. The instructor must submit my application. It's a strict rule of the reserve chapter. Are you planning to break it? Instructor number 88 said, the reserve chapter, I must follow it just as you do. Tell me, what does Article 48 say? Article 48. Xinyu's voice stopped abruptly, her face suddenly turning pale. Focused on her face and said, Article 48 stipulates that the merits achieved with unauthorized self-made tools must be shared half with the creator of the tool. You used the devouring demon worm virus right. That virus was developed by another reserve member, Zhou Zhen, wasn't it? So for these 200 points, shouldn't you share half with him? Lin Ziasu felt a flutter in his heart, finally hearing a familiar name. Zhou Zhen. That was the slim young man he met at the 101 base, who, apart from playing with viruses, didn't have many other skills. So Xinyu used the virus he developed. According to the reserve chapter, if someone uses this virus to achieve great merit, they have to split the credit. You sit at home, and points fall from the sky. Is this the privilege of those who work with their brains, not their hands? Is this Qianlong's intellectual property rights? Xinyu was entirely stunned. My current points are only 998. Now you're correct. Number 88 patted her shoulder, just 2 points short. The future is promising. Continue to strive, student Xinyu. Xinyu looked up at the sky, down at the earth, and then at the people around her, wondering why everything appeared gray. Lin Ziasu gave a light cough to break the silence. Xinyu's pent-up rage found an outlet, as she pointed a finger straight at Lin Ziasu's forehead. If you dare offer me insincere comfort, I'll beat you to death. Lin Ziasu was dumbfounded. Did I ever say I was going to comfort you? I just wanted to ask where's that arrogance from earlier, that proud strut like a little peacock. I will wreck you, Xinyu kicked towards him. Lin Ziasu turned tail and ran. Chapter 69. Jiangnan Group open and above board. Chang Yi's eyebrows curved up in a smile, but when Xinyu's gaze swept over, she hurriedly put on an expression of regret that she wasn't sure looked genuine or not. Lin Ziasu's voice came from outside. I'm not dealing with what happens next, I'm going home. He went downstairs and approached his car. There was someone in front of the car, donning a snow-white suit and snow-white shoes. Compared to his original look, it was only missing his belt, which was a limited edition LV belt in reality. This LV customization was just for show, as the belt had been tailored in another way, turned into a weapon to kill the enemy during the fight, stained with blood and nicked. He naturally didn't want it anymore. That was the true meaning behind his exclamation during the fight. See your grandmother, another wastage of 8 million from me. Zhao Zhen tapped lightly on the car with her finger and disdainfully wiped her hands with a pristine white handkerchief. Little brother, your car is way too lousy. In fact, I don't even have a car this lousy, it's borrowed, Lin Ziasu said. Someday when you come to Yancheng, I'll give you one. Sure, when there's a street racing expo in Yancheng, I'll also holler there, consuming everything, and young Master Zhao foots the bill. Then I'll take the best racing car and zoom away. Zhao Zhen's eyes bulged out. Then she suddenly burst into loud laughter, and the 3 people on the racing car also laughed. At this moment, it was already past midnight. Lin Ziasu was planning to go home. The car door was pulled open, and he got in. The other side of the car door opened as well. Chang Yi sat in the passenger seat. What does this mean? Can't bear to let me go or want to give me a bonus? Lin Ziasu chuckled. I can actually give you a bonus, Chang Yi smiled sweetly. 100,000, take it and buy a car of your own. Is it an official bonus, or are you doing charity again? Chang Yi glanced at him sideways. Charity my ass. Do you think I do know? In Fengcheng, you opened a detective agency. You dare charge 100,000 for catching an adulterer, you're not poor anymore. Lin Ziasu was delighted. I've found this model quite nice. I occasionally help you guys do some work out of whim, and you guys legitimately pay me, no different from me completing other commissions. Just keep this happiness to yourself inside, don't show it off. Showing off invites trouble. That makes sense. Show-offs can turn their backs and end up like frostbitten eggplants. Take Xinyu, for instance. Chang Yi laughed so hard she held her belly. Get going, or she might really come after us. Are you going with me? I can't not go. Tonight I even feel that 88 has tried a bit too hard. Lin Ziasu floored the gas pedal, and the car disappeared into the darkness, descending the mountainous road. Inside the racing car, Xinyu tilted her head back looking at 88's expressionless face. Instructor, can we have a heart-to-heart conversation? We can. Instructor, I've been wronged. My grievances through ancient and modern times, both domestic and international, are unique and hard to find. Why can't I ever hit the 1,000 mark? Why is there a strange tale of missing by just 2 points? Not sure if you want to hear this, but I suspect there's a pair of dark hands targeting me. I feel like I have offended some immortal. I feel like I, just like Lin Zios, am being suppressed. A soul-searching interrogation, a passionate indictment. Look down, finish talking. Done. Then get off the car. Xinyu suddenly jumped up. Instructor, aren't you going to give an explanation? Is there a rule in the reserve chapter that says an instructor must directly answer a student's questions? Xinyu shook her head. So get off the car. Xinyu was about to explode. Sister Chang'e, come and judge this. She rushed into the partition of the racing car. No one was inside the partition. Chang'e had already quietly set off with Lin Zaiasu, not at all in Ziwei Villa. The car had already left the Yuntai Mountain scenic area overnight. Their conversation had turned towards young Master Zhao Zhen. Lin Zaiasu was quite curious about Zhao Zhen. Members of Qianlong, even with a prominent background in society, often hide their identities and change outfits to carry out their missions, fearing that people might accurately match them with their undercover personas. But he did not. He appeared in a very showy manner. He was marked from head to toe with the tag of a second-generation rich. His image almost completely matched the one presented in news and social media. Was he not afraid of people finding out he was Qianlong, and hence taking revenge on him and his family? Responding to this question, Chang'e laughed. What's the purpose of hiding one's identity? Just the fear of enemy retaliation. The Zhao family of Jiangnan Group is already a prime target for retaliation by overseas organizations. As a second-generation rich, he's already a target for assassination, so hiding or not hiding doesn't make much difference. Jiangnan Group, a private enterprise, investing huge funds in scientific research, breaking through the overseas blockade on its own. Such enterprises had long been collectively banned by nations in Luoba State, Zili State, Nammo State, and other Western countries. 7 years ago, the eldest son of the Zhao family went to Zili State and was inexplicably arrested and died in prison under fabricated charges by Yingyu country. The eldest daughter of the Zhao family was also assassinated by Nine-Headed Snake. Now, only this Zhao Zhen remains. This Zhao Zhen said something that even Lin Zaiasu found somewhat moving. He said, "My Zhao family has been in business for 3 generations, patriotic in everyone. We don't believe in superstitions, fear no ghosts, do not aid enemies, and live with a clear conscience. How is it that on Daxia's own turf, we still need to keep our heads down? I refuse to bow. I'll tell you, Nine-Headed Snake, my family's Southern Jiangnan Group has broken through your blockade on the marketplace and defeated your enterprises. A young Master Zhao will take up dragon scale outside of the marketplace and slay your people. If you dare, come and kill me." The night wind was gentle, and the highway was silent and boundless. The car made its way back to Fengcheng on the empty provincial road throughout the night. The topic of Zhao Zhen had concluded. And after that conversation, there was a long silence. As the car merged onto the National Road 318, Lin Zaiasu finally brought up another topic. How is Huya doing? Mentioning that name, Chang'e laughed. Who gave her that nickname? Me. The name is quite accurate. To sum her up in one word, it's Tiger. Lin Zaiasu felt slightly envious. I have a rough idea of what you're going to say. She's woken up, and her abilities are quite outstanding, but she's the same as Xinyu, right? Chang'e smiled. You really do understand her. I can't go into detail about her right now. As long as she's fine, that's all that matters. Let's talk about you now. Are you currently in any danger? Danger? Lin Zaiasu's heart stirred. I have a photo in my phone. Could you use your dragon eye to help me check? What is the origin of this person? Chang'e's hand moved, reaching for the phone placed in front. The password is, Lin Zaiasu said, his phone's unlock code outright. Chang'e opened the gallery. Which one? The only beauty. This beauty was the one he had encountered in the library. Clearly she could live off her looks, yet showed an interest in philosophy and art. She should have passed by Lin Zaiasu without incident, but she gave him a painting. She could have gone unnoticed by Lin Zaiasu, but instead she used a strand of hair as a whip, killing a mosquito, delivering a profound shock to Lin Zaiasu. Chang'e opened the photo and looked at it silently. Good taste, she's a beauty. Then she took out a pair of glasses and put them on. 3 seconds later, a projection appeared on the car's glass. Ding Ryushui, 26 years old, went abroad for study in March 2125, attended Rui Li Royal Academy majoring in painting, returned to the country discontinuing her study in April 2128. From her appearances in various major airports and train stations, it can be seen that during the 2 years after returning to the country, she has traveled across 13 provinces and cities of Daxia. She has no job because she doesn't need one. Why? Her father's information appears. One of the three founders of Changsheng Group, Ding Lijiang, holds 12.5% of the shares of Changsheng Group, with a net worth of tens of billions. Lin Ziasu's heart skipped a beat. Ding Lijiang, a shareholder of Changsheng Group, show me his information separately. The information of Ding Lijiang displayed. Changsheng Group has three founders: Li Changsheng, Lei Ziajian, and Ding Lijiang. Li Changsheng is adept in commercial strategy, having transformed a small private company into a national-level major group, holding an absolute share of 53% in the group. Lei Ziajian is adept in management, keeping various aspects in order, holding 24% of the shares. Ding Lijiang is genuinely technically skilled, once a university professor who studied genetics for a full 20 years. Even though at the time of the founding of Changsheng Group, he didn't have the funds to invest, Li Changsheng and Lei Ziajian still gave him 12.5% of the shares for his technical contribution. It turns out, this 12.5% of technical shares was Changsheng Group's best investment. Relying on his outstanding genetic technology, he led the technical team of Changsheng Group, securing a place for Changsheng Group in the field of genetics. Changsheng Group, Chang Yi's eyes sparkled. Have you had dealings with them? No direct dealings, but they appeared in a case, Lin Ziasu said. Which case? The case that led to our action of removing ant nest today. Chang Yi's eyes suddenly brightened. Now you have to tell me all the details of this case. Lin Ziasu explained. Dell Company wanted to drive him out of Fengcheng, and that Dongzi was the direct operator. Lin Ziasu exposed his genetic people identity, setting a trap and forcing him to flee. Why force him? Because the individual genetic people are not important. What matters is the organization behind them. As he said to Zhou Mei, some things that seem huge to the Fengcheng police, when placed in the grand scheme of the world, are just trivial matters. Chang Yi listened quietly, and after he finished, she looked up slowly. How exactly did Changsheng Group enter your radar? It's quite coincidental. That day, when I went to intimidate Dell Group, I just happened to run into people from Changsheng Group. They're discussing business with the Dell Company's boss. A pharmaceutical factory owner deals with all kinds of people daily. Theoretically, it should be quite normal for Changsheng Group to conduct business with them. Lin Ziasu shook his head. No, this is not normal. Which part is not? Lin Ziasu said. In the local news reports, the name of Changsheng Group has never appeared. Chang Yi frowned, sorting through the logic. Chapter 70. Chapter 70, Non-Human Biological Chip Control. She quickly understood. Fengcheng is a small county town. Changsheng Group is a nationally renowned large corporation. Whenever Changsheng Group has any form of contact with a local enterprise from this county, it should be publicized widely in the news to boast about the county's strong industrial power and its expansion beyond the county, province, and even internationally. However, the peculiar thing was that Dell Company did not publicize such an invigorating matter. That means the dealings between Changsheng Group and it were not suitable for publicity. Chang Yi gently exhaled. There's something in this ant nest you might not have been alert to. Which is? Non-human biological brain chip implants. Lin Ziasu said, that is my greatest concern. In your intelligence network, which power possesses this technology? As mentioned before, there are two major categories in chip control technology. One is to control humans. The other is to control non-humans. Controlling humans is simple. An explosive device is set inside the chip, and if the person does not want to die, they must obey. The main threat is death. This tactic naturally works every time with humans, but it's nonsense when it comes to non-human entities. Therefore, the principle of controlling non-human entities is completely different from controlling humans. Even to say, they are not in the same league. It must precisely control the non-human entity's brain nerves, taking direct control over the biological control hub. It is much more sophisticated than the technology used for controlling humans. Lin Ziasu, having read numerous specialized books and understanding the cutting-edge information in this field from his time at Qianlong 101, knew that this technology had always been in research but had never made an effective breakthrough. That's why he was so shocked when he first saw those chip snakes at the entrance. Chang Yi slowly said, the photo we just saw of Ding Lijiang, he specializes in this field and has made significant progress. The previous year, Changsheng Group's subordinate Changsheng Hospital used this technology to awaken a comatose patient who had been in a vegetative state for 3 years. Lin Ziasu fell deep into thought. Dell Company leads to Changsheng Group. A deeply taboo piece of dark technology faintly emerged within this ant nest. The person who possessed or had delved into this dark technology was one of the founders of Changsheng Group. In Feng Cheng, he theoretically should have nothing to do with such a corporate giant. Yet the only daughter of this corporate colossus appeared before him inexplicably in his favorite guise, and even gifted him a painting. Perhaps, detective, you might need to take on Qianlong's commission next and make a trip to Changsheng Group, Chang Yi said with a gentle smile. Lin Ziasu smiled. Since it's a commission, there must be a reward. How much? $10,000 plus a beauty, Chang Yi smirked with pursed lips. A beauty? Are you including yourself as part of the deal? Would your mother agree? Lin Ziasu glanced at her. Chang Yi gave him a look. What an interpretation. Am I talking about myself? It's about that cute girl, the only one saved in your phone. Don't you think she's your best approach to getting close to Ding Lijiang? Missing such a great opportunity, what's the point of running a detective agency? She emphasized the word only heavily. Lin Ziasu laughed. Speaking of which, my detective agency also has a little relation to you. Here comes another attempt to hoodwink me. You think I can't check your registration information? You have equal shareholding with Miao Rulan, the lady boss, and it's completely unrelated to the third party. That's what's on the surface. If you ask around in Old Tashan Village, they'll have a different story. What kind of story? The people from Old Tashan would say, Fengcheng Detective Agency is a joint venture between Lin Ziasu and his girlfriend, Little Yi. Little Yi, Chang Yi's expression turned strange. Yes, my mother has always been pushing me to take civil service exams, right? I had no choice but to use you as a shield. I had a serious talk with her and told her that Little Yi said if I wanted to be with her, I had to start my own business and make money. If I'm still set on taking civil service exams, she would immediately run off with a rich guy. My poor mother, she almost pulled her hair out before she finally got the message. So in her mind, Fengcheng Detective Agency is mine and yours. Chang Yi's expression changed like shifting clouds in the sky, bewildered. After a long while, she let out a deep sigh. I'm ready to run off with a rich man at any moment. So much for my reputation. What's the use of a reputation for you? You don't walk in the mortal world anyway, it doesn't matter. What you really mean to say is, anyway, I won't be able to get married. They journeyed over mountains and ridges. The next afternoon, they arrived in Fengcheng. To be precise, just around the next bend in the road ahead, they would enter the territory of Fengcheng County. Just as they were turning the bend, from the direction of Baiyun Peak Park, a white car suddenly charged down. It seemed like the brakes had failed, as the car headed straight for Lin Ziasu's vehicle. Timing was just as they were making the turn. The distance from spotting the approaching vehicle to the collision was just a hair's breadth. If it were anyone else in this situation, a crash would likely be the only option. But Lin Ziasu's driving skills were far from ordinary. His car sped up suddenly, the steering wheel sharply turned, and with an almost impossible drift, the white car brushed past his taillight and plowed down the road, the wheels sinking into the ground next to the highway, finally coming to a stop amidst flying dust. One fisherman below the road sprung up in alarm, his face turning pale. The vehicles in the distance also abruptly slowed down. Chang Yi's heart skipped a beat as her gaze landed on Lin Ziasu. The saying that people who have been through major storms can sometimes capsize in a gutter almost came true for them. The two superhumans who had just slaughtered genetic people in the ant nest, if they were to be hit by an ordinary person driving a car, that would truly be a big joke. Lin Ziasu did not look at her. There was also no expression on his face. His gaze peered through the front windshield, fixated on a police car by the roadside, with a touch of mystery. The traffic officer raised his hand and stopped Lin Ziasu's car. Following the officer's baton, Lin Ziasu drove the car to the side of the road, stopped, and rolled down the window. He recognized the traffic officer outside. It was indeed Zhou Yuanqing from the West City Police Station. Back then he was the deputy head of the West City Police Station, and now he was dressed as a traffic officer, on duty on the road. Lin Ziasu stared at him, quite amused. But in front of Lin Ziasu, Zhou Yuanqing, seemingly unacquainted, saluted. Please show your driver's license and vehicle registration. A very normal procedure for duty. But Lin Zaiasu frowned. What if I said I don't have a driver's license? Driving without a license, on the road, Zhou Yuanking's expression darkened. Get out, accept the punishment. Lin Zaiasu stepped out of the car and approached the police vehicle. Driving without a license, a serious threat to traffic safety, according to the provisions of the road safety law. A fine of $2,000 and additionally, detention for 15 days. That can't be right, officer, Lin Zaiasu spoke. Detention is required only if unlicensed driving leads to a serious safety accident, which I haven't caused. On the contrary, due to my quick reaction and making the correct avoidance maneuver, I prevented a traffic accident from happening. You have the right to appeal, Zhou Yuanqing coldly said. Enforce it. Two police officers approached. Suddenly the car door opened, and a beauty got out from the passenger seat, coming to Lin Zaiasu's side. She, of course, was Chang Yi. Chang Yi casually said, Little Sue, why are you teasing them? You clearly have a license. Lin Zaiasu's heart stirred. Zhou Yuanqing frowned. Have a license, show it. Chang Yi said, just check it yourself in the system. Zhou Yuanqing, full of suspicion, took out his phone, entered the system to check, following the ID number Lin Zaiasu provided, and his eyes widened. He has a license. And it's an S-Class 1. What's an S-Class? It's Daxia country's most top-level driver's license, allowing driving of all kinds of vehicles, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, dozens of wheels, and even flying cars. How is this possible? There isn't a single S-Class license in the entire Fengcheng, but he just happened to have one. Since Lin Zaiasu has a license, all forms of punishment completely lost their foundation. If you had the license, you should have shown it earlier. Zhou Yuanqing resentfully turned around and waved his hand. Lin Zaiasu resumed driving on the road. Aren't you going to ask how I got this license? Chang Yi chuckled lightly. It turns out my training in 101 has ultimately borne fruit. That is, Qianlong has recognized my driving qualifications. Lin Zaiasu also laughed. That's right, that might be the only thing Qianlong can give you, said Chang Yi. No, not the only thing, Lin Zaiasu said. Chang Yi leaned in closer. What else? I also gained some ways of thinking, such as, I can tell that there's more than meets the eye with today's minor incident. What? Chang Yi was a bit surprised. Such a common traffic stop had a hidden story. Don't you find today's events a bit strange? Chang Yi's brows furrowed. That car had been stopped on the road for a while the moment we arrived. It charged down, clearly fabricating an accident. Chang Yi's eyes lit up, and she recited the license plate number of that car. A dragon eye search promptly revealed its owner, Lu Lin, employed by Dell Company. The light in Chang Yi's eyes intensified. Dell Company, this is the corporation you just mentioned with significant suspicion. Let's go to the criminal investigation team first. Lin Zaiasu opened a compartment in front, took out a gadget, and with a single hand, operated and closed it in an instant. Chang Yi's eyes locked onto it, a tracker for the car. Of course, every Qianlong member could assemble and disassemble, but like him, driving with one hand, operating with the other, and doing it as smoothly as flowing clouds in water, was still extremely rare. Criminal Investigation Team, 7th floor. Chief Zhang sat in front of the computer, his eyes bright as he stared at the screen. The door of the office was pushed open with a bang, and Zhou Mei stormed in. Chief Zhang, that lawyer surnamed Jiang is here again. Chief Zhang's gaze did not leave the computer screen, as he responded indifferently with one word. This lawyer is kind of impressive. He came today just to notify us. At 11:17 on the midnight of 3 days from now, he will come to pick up Li Yufeng. Chief Zhang finally looked away from the screen to Zhou Mei. Zhou Mei slowly leaned in. Chief Zhang, this is reality. Li Yufeng's detention period is almost up. If we can't find a breakthrough, by 11:17 on the midnight of 3 days from now, we must release her. Chapter 71. Chapter 71, A Little Trap. However, Li Yufeng never admitted to poisoning intentionally, portraying herself as a victim, with every interrogation session akin to a pitiable little flower fluttering in the storm. Several rounds of interrogation went by, and the police had no breakthrough. And her detention period was almost up. When the time came, if there were no new solid evidences, the police would have to release her. Zhou Mei had been busy with this matter over the past few days. She did not want to see a criminal escape the law, nor did she want to see Lin Zaiasu's analysis against Du Lifeng of Dell Company remain forever unverified. But that's just how a legal society works. Everything must be based on evidence. Without evidence, there is no conviction. Captain Zhang nodded lightly. He is back. Zhou Mei's heart skipped a beat. Who is he? Captain Zhang gently pushed, turning the computer screen to reveal a tracking map. Zhou Mei was all too familiar with the track device. It was her car, and the location was in Fengcheng. This little rascal finally back. 2 days and 2 nights I was tormented by you. Oh no, my heart was tormented by you. What has it become? Constantly speculating about what had happened to you, unable to enjoy food nor sleep, and now you are finally back. All the worries and frustrations within Zhou Mei vanished in an instant. I really want to know what he's been up to during these 2 days and 2 nights of disappearance, said Chief Zhang. Zhou Mei was in high spirits. Then use the tactics you had back in the day that scared suspects into wetting their pants to interrogate him directly. Chief Zhang stroked his newly grown beard as he looked at Zhou Mei. Direct interrogation isn't appropriate. Perhaps we could use some honey trap or something. Zhou Mei caught the look in Chief Zhang's eyes. Really? Captain Zhang, are you planning to give me half a day off to engage in a honey trap? A day off? Don't even think about mixing personal affairs with official duties. Chief Zhang pointed at the screen. He's come to us voluntarily. The position on the computer no longer moved. The last location was the Criminal Investigation Team office. Around 5 minutes later, the office door was gently knocked. Zhou Mei sprang up, opened the door, and there was Lin Ziasu outside. These past 2 days, Zhou Mei's voice suddenly stopped, her gaze fixed on the person behind Lin Ziasu. Behind him stood Chang Yi. Officer Chang. With a swish, Captain Zhang came to the door, hand raised in salute. Officer Chang. Chang Yi, Chief Zhang had met him once before. When was that? The first time Chang Yi came to the Fengcheng Police Department, landing on the rooftop, he was one of the duo that welcomed him. He was unclear about the identity of Chang Yi, but he vaguely guessed some parts, and later, the chief relayed Chang Yi's instructions, assigning a female officer to accompany the investigation. It was Chief Zhang himself who carried out the order by selecting Zhou Mei. Chang Yi raised his hand lightly. Today, I'm not the main character. I'm just accompanying Detective Lin on his case. Entering, he closed the office door with his backhand. Chief Zhang welcomed Chang Yi and Lin Ziasu to sit on the sofa in the office, and Zhou Mei served tea. Zhou Mei, take a seat as well, said Chang Yi. Zhou Mei and Chief Zhang sat on another row of sofas. I came here today because of an interesting incident that happened just after I returned, Lin Ziasu said, lifting his teacup. Interesting? Chief Zhang was slightly startled. Yes, interesting. It happened just at the boundary of Sanli River, beneath the Yushui Villa, as I was rounding the mountain bend. A car careened down from above, nearly causing a horrendous car accident. Zhou Mei's face suddenly altered. Lin Ziasu's gaze shifted to her. Don't worry, not a hair on your car is missing. I avoided it. Since when do cars grow hair? Zhou Mei glared at him. Am I worried about the car? Chief Zhang's eyes lifted. You call this incident interesting? Yes, pretty interesting, Lin Ziasu said. There are 3 interesting points. First, we just checked this car and the owner's name is Lu Lin, an employee at Dell Company. Chief Zhang's expression turned grim. The second point is, just after such a dangerous scene unfolded, we saw the traffic police right away. Do you know who this policeman is? Chief Zhang asked. Who? Zhou Yuanqing, the former deputy director of the West City Police Station. I specifically called you last time to check on him. So, what? Did you transfer him into the traffic police team? Chief Zhang nodded lightly. I reported him to the chief, who also conducted a review, and the findings weren't good. Hence, he was transferred to the traffic police team, which amounted to a demotion. Are you suggesting that his appearance there is too coincidental? Do you, Captain Zhang, not find it a bit too convenient? Chief Zhang's expression became somber. The traffic police team was always short-staffed, so roadside checks were rare. The idea that you could nearly have a traffic accident and then immediately spot a traffic cop, how serendipitous is that? But, Captain Zhang mused, but there's something illogical about this. If the car accident was deliberately planned, what's the point of Zhou Yuanqing being at the scene? Under the watch of the police and in view of the police body cameras, wouldn't it be harder to hide their criminal traces? The significance of being at the scene could be to follow up if the initial plan fails. What follow-up? For instance, catching me red-handed for unlicensed driving, causing a traffic accident, and detaining me for 15 days. Zhou Mei's heart skipped a beat. Unlicensed driving, the thunder had finally exploded. But that reason seems far-fetched, Zhou Mei said. Unlicensed driving isn't a crime itself, just a violation. Are you saying they went to all this trouble just to catch you for a violation? Indeed, Chief Zhang and Chang, you didn't understand either. People from the government certainly have ways to retaliate, especially law enforcement agencies like theirs. If you offend them, they can catch you red-handed and deal with you using ironclad regulations. It was inevitable that Lin Ziasu would offend Zhou Yuanqing, a deputy station chief demoted to a traffic cop by a single sentence. How could he not want revenge? Impossible. But this kind of retaliation, wasn't it a bit childish? At most, it would just detain Lin Ziasu for 15 days, causing him no real harm but just to annoy him. You should focus on the detention for 15 days, Lin Ziasu said. What do you mean? Lin Ziasu said, I remember someone else is also detained for 15 days, Li Yufeng. She was arrested 12 days ago, detained for 15 days, so she's due for release in 3 days, right? Captain Zhang's heart jerked. Zhou Mei's eyes lit up. You mean someone doesn't want you causing trouble during her release period, so they've gone to great lengths to keep you from interfering. Lin Ziasu said, another point I'm just saying if Li Yufeng is killed as soon as she's released from detention, by the time I've served a full 15 days and come out, it's very likely that any traces have been eroded by time. Even with extraordinary means, I wouldn't be able to find the real culprit. Zhou Mei's face changed. She seemed to have sorted out all the links. Li Yufeng was about to be released because the police couldn't find any new evidence, and by law, they had to release her. Once she was released, those behind the scenes would kill her. If Lin Ziasu was around, they wouldn't dare act since his investigative methods were too mysterious, and no one dared to gamble. But what if Lin Ziasu's freedom was restricted? By the time he completed 15 days, all the traces would have been effaced by time, and the true culprit would be able to protect themselves to the greatest extent. This was the real meaning behind his repeated emphasis on detention for 15 days. This was the real mystery behind the first thing that happened upon his return to Fengcheng today. First, they staged a car accident. Success would naturally be a cause for celebration, killing Lin Ziasu once and for all, or if not dead, an injured Lin Ziasu sent to the emergency room would suffice to achieve their goal. As for the costs, do you think Dell Company would care about some compensation for injury? Even if the car accident failed, they had follow-up plans. They seized upon Lin Ziasu's fatal flaw of unlicensed driving to detain him for 15 days with no legal barriers. And these 15 days of detention created a safe period for someone else. What seemed like a mundane car mishap on the highway and a car inspection, once unfolded by Lin Ziasu through 3 points of interest, revealed an intricate mystery. Chang Yi was a bit stunned. She knew nothing about the Li Yufeng case, nor did she ever think that today's minor incident of traveling in the same vehicle would have such great implications hidden within. The Li Yufeng case. Captain Zhang gently punched his fist on the coffee table in front of him, somewhat frustrated. It's almost impossible to make a breakthrough in this case within 3 days. Whether we like it or not, we'll probably have to release her after 3 days. Not necessarily, Lin Ziasu smiled faintly. There's an unconventional method worth trying. What? Captain Zhang and Zhou Mei's eyes gleamed simultaneously. People, after all, can't escape human nature. Let's set a trap for her and see. After some discussion, the 3 people in the office looked at each other. After a long silence, Captain Zhang let out a long breath. Little Su, this method is indeed unconventional. Let's give it a try. Li Yufeng faced her 7th interrogation. After being detained for 12 days, most people would be dispirited and haggard, but Miss Li was extraordinary, turning the detention center into a hotel stay. She looked as fresh as a stunning beauty who had just spent a few days holidaying in a cabin. Even in the dimly lit interrogation room, even facing the police representing the authority of the law, she remained flirtatious. Sitting across from her were Zhou Mei and Sun Yang. Of course, she didn't know that on the outside, 3 people were watching the interrogation live through cameras: Captain Zhang, Chang Yi, and Lin Ziasu. Normally, Lin Ziasu wouldn't have qualified to observe the interrogation, but with Chang Yi present, everything changed. Li Yufeng, what is your relationship with the boss of Dell Company, Du Lifeng? Zhou Mei asked. Li Yufeng said, "Officer, you already asked this question last time, and I've made it clear that I don't know Du Lifeng." "No, you're lying," Zhou Mei said sternly. "You were instructed by Du Lifeng to drag Wang Changfa into the mire, using this to control Wang Changfa and promote the drug-based project's cooperation with Dell Company. Isn't that right?" Chapter 72, Death Threat. A lengthy statement, laid out openly in the interrogation room as an extensive showdown. This was the first time this trump card was revealed in front of Li Yufeng. Previously, during interrogations, principles were strictly followed. Matters that couldn't be confirmed weren't rashly disclosed. But today, there was a complete breakthrough. Rational deductions and assumptions were presented in front of Li Yufeng. Li Yufeng suddenly looked up. "No, that's not it. I didn't know the Odu magic oil was a drug. I don't know Du Lifeng. You're just spouting nonsense, you." Zhou Mei raised her hand to interrupt. "P39 and its antidote were also given to you by Du Lifeng, right?" "Officer, your leading questions won't work on me. I won't admit it. Even if you torture me, I couldn't possibly confess." Li Yufeng's cheeks flushed with a tinge of red. Outside, Lin Ziaosu's face revealed a slight smile. Although Li Yufeng appeared flawless, without a single verbal slip-up, her agitation was a defect in itself. This agitation indicated that the strike had hit her sore spot. In the interrogation room, Zhou Mei did not continue questioning, just quietly watching Li Yufeng. Li Yufeng also seemed to realize that she had somewhat lost her composure, her expression gradually calming. When her demeanor nearly stabilized, Zhou Mei spoke slowly. "Li Yufeng, with your tough stance, you must be confident that we have to act by the law, cannot use excessive methods on you, and think you'll be released soon, right?" Li Yufeng slowly lifted her gaze. "Officer, I know the law. By 11:17 the night after tomorrow, I'll be out of this detention center. If you dare not release me, my lawyer will naturally sue you." "Yes, based on the current situation, you will be released the night after tomorrow," Zhou Mei said. "But Li Yufeng, do you think after your release, how would Du Lifeng treat you? Would he welcome you with a banquet?" "Officer, you're trying to lead me again. I really do wish such a big boss would host a banquet for me, but sadly I truly do not know Du Lifeng," Li Yufeng said with a half-smile. At this moment, she seemed to truly reveal her sharpness. "Good advice is hard to persuade the damned," Zhou Mei sighed softly, closing the interrogation record book. "Little son, end the interrogation." Li Yufeng's smile stiffened. Zhou Mei left. The interrogation room quieted. Two police officers escorted Li Yufeng, taking her back to her solitary cell. Li Yufeng quietly lay on the bed, lying on her side. She appeared unexceptional. But to Lin Ziaosu's eyes, this facade revealed the agitation in her heart. Night fell. Deep into the night, Li Yufeng in the detention center still lay quietly on the bed. For a long time, she hadn't turned over. But she definitely wasn't asleep. The torment in her heart, no one could understand. Zhou Mei's words during the day had truly hit her core. What would Du Lifeng do to you after you get out? This was an increasingly unsettling thought. Suddenly, a scream came from the duty room outside. Li Yufeng abruptly lifted her head, a dark shadow already rushing down the corridor, carried by a fierce wind. "Who's there?" A commanding shout came from outside, followed by two police officers rushing in. Swish, guns drawn. But the cloaked person swept a hand, two dark lines shooting towards the officers. The officers abruptly clutched their throats, blood trickling through their fingers, disbelief in their eyes. Li Yufeng's face turned ghastly pale. Click. Her detention room door was violently opened, accompanied by an icy chill to the bone. The newcomer, eyes extremely bright, like twin cold stars in the dark. What do you want to do?" Li Yufeng stepped back to the corner, terrified. "You know too much. The boss doesn't want to gamble." Swoosh. A knife thrust. Li Yufeng screamed, "No." Bang. A gunshot. The cloaked person stiffened abruptly, face down on the floor. Blood seeped from his head. Outside in the corridor, Captain Zhang looking furious. The assassin's body was dragged away. Captain Zhang stood in front of Li Yufeng, her body trembling uncontrollably, sweat making her hair messier than ever. Captain Zhang coldly glanced at her and turned to leave, without saying a word. But just as Captain Zhang was about to exit, a shout came from behind. "Captain Zhang, I'll confess everything." In the interrogation room, Li Yufeng, as if bathed anew, tremulously confessed everything. She was arranged by Du Lifeng. The P-39 drugs were given by Du Lifeng. So was the antidote. The purpose matched exactly what Lin Zaiasu had initially deduced. Du Lifeng wanted to consolidate 9 bases of Hong Kong Pharmaceutical Company. This monumental task currently had only one final obstacle, Wang Chengfa. Therefore, they used this method to take down Wang Chengfa and clear the path for Jade Pharmaceutical. Originally, she was resolved not to confess, because Du Lifeng had promised that as long as she kept silent, her future with Dell Company would soar. But tonight's events made her see everything clearly. In the dictionary of the big bosses, the word trust was never present. They never truly trusted anyone, believing more that the dead could not cause them trouble. So she confessed. She had one condition. The police must ensure her safety, even if she had to stay in detention for 10 or 18 years, never letting her out before Du Lifeng was apprehended. She could never have imagined that the scene that nearly drove her to a nervous breakdown tonight was all just an act. The assassin assigned to the assassination was none other than Chang Yi, the mysterious figure from Qianlong. The mastermind behind the scenes was none other than the super detective Lin Zaiasu, who had sent her to detention. This grand act was Lin Zaiasu's definitive conclusion about human nature. Human nature is strange. When faced with a great crisis, it always makes one consider the lesser of two evils. And lesser and greater are also established through comparisons. Before Li Yufeng's illusions were shattered, confessing was an unbearable burden, so she refused to confess to her death. But when a more cruel scene presented itself before her, the balance of seriousness shifted. Compared to her own life, confessing suddenly seemed like a lighter burden. So she confessed. With her confession, the major operation against Dell Company now had legal support. The next day the sky was clear and the clouds were light. Dell Company was holding an event about corporate culture, attended by representatives from 82 enterprises in the county, as well as relevant departments. Vice County Magistrate Su Sankyang was giving a speech on stage. Dell Company takes it upon itself to benefit the county and strives to foster a clean and upright corporate culture, organizing reading groups and various cultural and sports activities to promote the essence of Daxia's cultural heritage, setting an example for all enterprises in the county, on behalf of. Du Lifeng, sitting on the stage, was radiant and spirited. Suddenly, the conference room door was thrust open. A large group of police officers marched in. Vice County Magistrate Su's speech was abruptly cut off. His expression darkened dramatically as he stared at the person at the forefront. This person was none other than Captain Zhang, of the Criminal Investigation Team. Captain Zhang, what is this? Captain Zhang extended his hand, a warrant hanging from it. Du Lifeng, you are under arrest on suspicion of a drug case. There was pandemonium throughout the room. Du Lifeng on stage suddenly changed complexion. Captain Zhang, I have always abided by the law. Captain Zhang waved his hand. Arrest him. 4 police officers ascended the stage. Face darkening, Su Sankyang commented. Captain Zhang, today is a meeting for entrepreneurs to promote corporate culture across the county. Is it really appropriate for you to barge in and make arrests? Captain Zhang coldly responded. Vice County Magistrate Su, are you dressing up a suspect as corporate culture? Outrageous, Su Sankyang exploded. As the head of the Criminal Investigation Team, have you no regard for organizational discipline? Sorry, Vice County Magistrate Su, I only have respect for the law, Captain Zhang commanded again. Proceed with the arrest. The 4 officers moved in unison, pulling up Du Lifeng and handcuffing him. Raising his hand, Su Sankyang declared, I'll consult with Secretary Sun right now to see if there's still any rule of law in Fengcheng. At the county committee, phones at Secretary Sun's office started ringing incessantly. The director of the Investment Promotion Bureau. Vice County Magistrate in charge of industry. Vice County Magistrate in charge of the economy. All were complaining about the Criminal Investigation Team causing trouble. A corporate culture event was being held. TV stations were set with various filming equipment ready to promote it across the county. Vice County Magistrate was still speaking, and right at that moment, the Criminal Investigation Team arrested someone at the venue, whose face was being slapped. This was destroying the business environment. Secretary Sun was overwhelmed, immediately calling the Chief of Public Security, Wang Feng, giving him a furious scolding. Wang Feng, what are you doing? I've told you that your Criminal Investigation Team leader is a fool. Such a big scene he's caused today, quick, make him stop. He scolded for 2.5 minutes. Wang Feng said nothing. After the scolding, Wang Feng spoke. Secretary Sun, this wasn't arranged by me, it was Qianlong. Qianlong. Secretary Sun's expression drastically changed, his voice trembling. Yes. Phone in hand, Secretary Sun's grip slowly loosened as it trembled. Suddenly he rushed out of the office. Send a car immediately. A car with the license plate, one rushed towards the industrial park. County Committee Secretary Sun personally arrived on the scene. By the time he arrived, the local high-profile individuals were already mostly there, and the parking lot was nearly full, filled with police cars and numerous other vehicles with small license plates. Upon his arrival, Vice County Magistrate Su immediately approached. Secretary Sun, this criminal investigation team is outrageous. We must discipline them. What is this becoming? Is there no? Secretary Sun's expression darkened. He strode to the meeting venue, grabbed the microphone, coughed, and announced. Today's event is about corporate culture. Everyone needs to understand what corporate culture is. First and foremost, it must be lawful. I know what you entrepreneurs care about the most, the business environment. But what is the best business environment in your eyes? It is still one that is lawful. Therefore, when the criminal investigation team is conducting an investigation, no one should obstruct them. Vice County Magistrate Su was shocked, staring at the secretary with disbelief. Wasn't this secretary always the biggest supporter of Dell Company? Didn't he always praise Dell Company at every meeting? What happened today? After finishing his statement, the secretary stepped down from the stage. Vice County Magistrate Su approached, intending to say something, but someone else spoke first. It was Captain Zhang of the Criminal Investigation Team. I finally understand why Vice County Magistrate Su is so agitated. Captain Zhang lightly lifted a green ledger in his hand. This records the private transactions between you and Du Leifeng. The crowd was completely stirred. Everyone eyed the green ledger, many with sweat trickling down their backs. Chapter 73. Chapter 73. Daughter-in-law comes to visit. In the chairman's office, Lin Ziasu and Chang Yi leaned against the window, looking at the crowd below. Lin Ziasu smiled slightly. Today, Chief Zhang is quite the spectacle, using your reputation as a tiger's skin, completely disregarding the status of the deputy county chief. If it weren't for this green ledger of yours, even if he used all of Qianlong as his tiger's skin, it would be useless. Chang Yi said, I still don't understand. How did you find out there was a secret compartment in this safe? Indeed, the way Lin Ziasu opened the safe had overturned her expectations. At the time, they asked the secretary to open the safe, and she cooperated fully, revealing some cash and high-end jade inside. However, Lin Ziasu closed the safe door again, entered a different set of passwords, and once reopened, a different scene appeared. There was a green ledger inside. A single safe, different passwords, different spaces open. Would you have thought of that? And Lin Ziasu did just think of it. Of course, Lin Ziasu couldn't tell her that he had traveled back in time and seen Du Leifeng use this method once. He could only be pretentious. So it seems I'm a natural-born detective. Chang Yi's eyes twinkled. So, genius detective, what did you find? Lin Ziasu replied, 2 discoveries, both quite interesting. First, the Changsheng Group's collaboration with Dell Company shows no record in the ledgers, neither in the regular ledgers nor in this secret ledger. You analyzed this issue before. You only saw Du Leifeng meeting with representatives from Changsheng Group, which doesn't prove they've actually reached a substantive deal. Yes, that's also possible, Lin Ziasu said. The second point is Du Leifeng has changed his secretary. Changed secretaries? Yes, the last time I met Secretary Little Huan, she was beautiful, well-proportioned, and well-mannered, perfect for both personal and professional engagements, so why replace her? Chang Yi looked at him with a sour expression. Perfect for hosting. Has she hosted you? The door outside opened and Zhou Mei came in. Sister Chang, there's a discovery. The 3 inside the room went out together to a workshop, where the floor of the workshop was lifted to reveal another workshop below. The workshop was small but exceptionally tidy, and on the shelves there were finished pharmaceuticals. Chang Yi lightly touched her finger to some powder, then to her tongue, her expression slightly changed. P39. Zhou Mei was greatly shocked. On the other side, the yellow powder, Chang Yi also tested, the antidote for P39. Now the circle is complete. Dell Company is indeed the mastermind behind the Wang Changfa case. Their motive matches exactly what Lin Zaiasu had deduced. Just needing this conclusive evidence, Dell Company would be finished. As Lin Zaiasu and Chang Yi were leaving the factory in Zhou Mei's car, seals had already been placed on various workshops. "Sister Chang, where to?" Zhou Mei asked. "Just find any shopping mall," Chang Yi replied. Lin Zaiasu stretched lazily. "Now is also the time to do some shopping. Eat something good, my life, always hustling around. I really don't know what I'm chasing." "You're still complaining." Zhou Mei gave him a sideways glance. "What were you busy with? Just came up with an idea, then sat there cup after cup of tea. While you stole leisure, I was busy, and when you finished, I got even busier. With this mess from Dell Company, I don't know how long I'll be busy." "You have achievements from being busy. Your police star is about to shine, right?" "Enough of that. Chief Zhang decoys me, and you do too. The police star twinkles, the police star twinkles." "Hey, Sister Chang, can you give me a precise answer? When will my police star shine?" Zhou Mei was familiar enough with Chang Yi to joke around. "Very soon," Chang Yi responded with a smile. Zhou Mei felt like she had been injected with a strong dose of chicken blood, becoming spirited all at once. Lin Zaiasu looked at her. Fast and slow are relative compared to a lifetime of lengthy career. 3 to 5 years is fast. Relative to a tree taking 1,000 years to mature, 30 years is but a flash. "Get lost," Zhou Mei unapologetically interrupted on the spot. Today, in front of Feng Cheng's commercial trade building, Zhou Mei dropped off Lin Zaiasu and Chang Yi. Her car didn't stop running as she returned back to the criminal investigation team. Indeed, as she said, with the Dell Company case breaking, she was in pain and pleasure. Pleased because behind this significant case, there was her contribution, directly engaging in the first confrontation with Du Lifen counts as merit. Moreover, the merits made by Lin Zaiasu seemed naturally credited to her name. Not only her felt this way, but the criminal investigation team did too. Why is there such a confusing method of calculation? It probably originates from a starting point. Lin Zaiasu's cooperation with the police. Zhou Mei was the initial facilitator. Where did the pain lie? To summarize in a phrase, the following time would involve an upside-down work schedule, mountainous paperwork for case files, an ordeal known by those who have endured it, definitely not an easy task. Lin Zaiasu, however, was much more relaxed. With the case solved, his part was done. Chang Yi, too, seemed to let go of everything, plunging into shopping. When she came out, Lin Zaiasu was surprised. 2 big bags, one filled with various edibles and another with clothes, outerwear, underwear, autumn apparel, and even a down jacket. "What are you doing?" Lin Zaiasu took the bag filled with various edibles, puzzled. "Don't sneak a bite, this isn't bought for you." "Then who is it for?" "Your mom." Lin Zaiasu from Heavenly Tao Wisdom Eye pierced through the plastic bag, staring at the various clothes inside, and indeed, they were what a middle-aged woman would wear. "Are you planning to visit my mom?" Chang Yi rolled her eyes at him. "Yeah, didn't she hear rumors that I'm ready to elope with some rich guy at any moment? I'll show her with my actions that my character isn't that bad, and I haven't run off." Lin Zaiasu scratched his head lightly. That excuse at the time was just a benevolent lie to stop her from nagging me to take civil service exams. Now she has almost forgotten about little Yi's existence. Aren't you just provoking her most sensitive nerve? You really think she's forgotten? Then you are underestimating the determination of rural old ladies in finding daughters-in-law. If I don't go and reassure her, believe it or not, she'll show up at the detective agency tomorrow, continuing to nag you about civil service exams. You wouldn't want problems in the backyard just as our agency is starting to do well, would you? Lin Zaiasu pondered for a while before tentatively accepting her plan. Even if you want to reassure her, there's no need to spend so much money. Chang Yi said, "Don't worry, it's just over 2,000, and Grandma gave me a red envelope that is 1 in 10,000. I net 8,000. Wishful thinking. Each carrying a large bag, they hailed a taxi and headed straight for Old Tashan Village. Old Tashan Village, behind the county town. Life there is worlds apart from that of the county town. The county town is bustling and constantly changing. Old Tashan Village witnesses sunrise to sunset routine, with hundreds of market stalls, 3 mountain tops, where buffaloes roam freely on the slopes and roosters strut proudly within the courtyards. Lin Mu was planting vegetables in the field, with the black soil turning under her feet. Her heart also churned like waves. In the past, preference was for boys over girls. Everyone tried various means to have sons. It seems the bitter fruits of that era are now being solidly realized by the new generation. When it's time for children to marry, having sons versus daughters is worlds apart. For families with only daughters, life is easy. No worries about housing or jobs for daughters, just peacefully await the son-in-law's dutifulness. Take old Liu from the swamp below. He spent half his life feeling inept with 3 daughters, but now, during festivals, his daughters and sons-in-law come with loads of gifts, making everyone else in the village green with envy. Less cushy than that are families with 1 son and 1 daughter. It's a different lifestyle. Rural parents without much means, whatever the daughter-in-law wants, the daughter asks from her husband, aiming for a balance of income and expenses. The real tough luck falls on families with only a son. There's no balance of income and expenses. Parents have to cut their coats according to their cloth. Even tougher are the families with 2 sons. The Lin family was unfortunate to have 2 sons, so Lin Zaiasu's dad still works outside, and Lin Zaiasu's mom still labors in the fields. Even more pitiful is that no matter how hard the old couple works, facing exorbitant dowries and the overt and covert expenses of marriage, it's all but a drop in the bucket. Only one situation is exceptional, that's if the son himself excels. In Lin Mu's heart, the elder son is commendable. He got into a military academy, joined the army, and a stable job awaits him after his service. But this younger son, he's just too unconventional, gave up civil service exams all of a sudden, and started a detective agency in Fengcheng. The old lady once inquired, while selling vegetables, what this detective agency does. Someone said, it's about finding cats and dogs for people, and sometimes eavesdropping under people's walls to listen to marital disputes. Tusk. What decent family would do such things? This set of opinions with a dismissive tone chilled her heart by half. She wanted to go to the detective agency there, and then to discuss with her son the topic of ancestral dignity. But she held back. Why? Because the detective agency was a joint venture between her son and his future daughter-in-law. Scolding her son was one thing, but annoying the daughter-in-law, and if she eloped with some rich man, what then? Wouldn't that be a disaster on both ends? Perhaps because her mind was filled with various thoughts, her accuracy slipped, and with one hoe down she accidentally chopped off half of the newly grown nari seedlings. Lin Mu felt so distressed. She dropped the hoe, gathered the soil, trying to salvage what she could. Suddenly a voice came from outside, "Mom." Lin Mu's heart jumped and she looked up sharply. Standing at the head of the field was indeed her son, Lin Zaiasu, who hadn't been home in a month. A whole month, and he had finally returned. "You rascals still know to come back." Before Lin Mu could finish her sentence, she suddenly stopped speaking, stared in surprise. Behind the big tree coming around was a pretty girl, Chang Yi, gently smiling. "Little Yi came to see you," said Lin Zaiasu. "Ah, you could have called first." Lin Mu's face turned from cloudy to clear skies. "Mom's heading home now." "Auntie, let me help you with that." Chang Yi jumped into the field, grabbing the picked vegetables. Lin Mu quickly stopped her. "Little Yi, don't get your clothes dirty, let me do it." "No worries, I like doing some farm work." When Lin Mu first met Lin Zaiasu, she was internally furious, wondering why she gave birth to such a rascal. But now, as Lin Zaiasu carried a hoe and Chang Yi carried vegetables following her home, she looked around, her heart thinking, "Look everyone, I too have a daughter-in-law, and such a good one at that." Chapter 74, Epic-Making Technological Breakthroughs. After entering the house, Lin Mu's eyes widened. The place was clean and tidy, as if it had just undergone a thorough cleaning. Walking into the kitchen, the water was already boiled, the vegetables were already chopped, and the meat was simmering with a delightful aroma. Lin Zaiasu smiled and told her, "Little Yi did all this." Lin Mu was as if in a dream. It wasn't until after lunch that Lin Mu, holding Chang Yi's hand, chatted with her relaxedly. Talking about Chang Yi's family, Chang Yi told her that she had grown up in an orphanage and never knew who her parents were. A kind-hearted grandfather had taken her in and raised her. "Is that grandfather still well?" Chang Yi was somewhat sad. "Grandpa is no longer with us either." The room fell silent for a long time, a true silence. At least Chang Yi was genuine. Everything she said was the truth. Indeed, she grew up in an orphanage. Indeed, she was raised by a kind-hearted grandfather. However, she did not tell Lin Mu that this kind grandfather was named Taking, who died at Qingyuan Temple a month ago. That case was also the starting point of her bond with Lin Zaiasu. Lin Mu's maternal love overflowed, gripping her hand more tightly. From now on, consider this place your home. Chang Yi said gently. Auntie, I'll come over next month to stay with you for a while, is that okay? Lin Ziyasu's eyes suddenly widened. Lin Mu was both shocked and overjoyed. Little Yi, are you serious? For real. There's nobody in my family anyway, and Auntie, you're so kind to me, I'll just move in here. Little Yi, Auntie is so happy. Lin Mu was so joyful she almost fainted. Little Su, you have to be good to her for the rest of your life, understand? Cough, Lin Ziyasu really didn't know what to say. Chang Yi continued, he's been very good to me. The detective agency made tens of thousands of yuan this month, and it's all with me. Just a month and you earn tens, thousands. Lin Mu's heart rate increased again. The detective agency's business is really good, especially lucrative. That's great, that's great. It's really wonderful, little Yi. You really are Sar's fortune in this lifetime. Mom, give Dad a call, tell him to stop working construction at the site. Lin Ziyasu finally interjected. Let's have him come back. All right, you kids are so capable. Your dad doesn't know how happy he'll be. I'll call him in a bit. A chatter full of warmth ensued, lasting till the sun set in the west. Then it was time for Chang Yi to leave. Lin Mu accompanied her for 5 miles. Finally, Lin Mu stopped. Lin Ziyasu walked with Chang Yi out of his mother's sight, turned back and stared at Chang Yi. Hey, you're taking this a bit too far, staying with her for a long time next month. She's really taken this to heart. Let's see how you're going to keep up this lie. Chang Yi's eyes slowly revealed a hint of a smile. Would anything I say be a lie? You? Lin Ziyasu furrowed his brow. What do you mean? It was absolutely impossible for Chang Yi to actually stay in one place for long. She had her duties, traveling from the south of the heavens to the north of the sea. Abroad and domestically were both common. How could she possibly stay with an old rural lady to farm? Chang Yi explained, I came today to give her a little heads up. Next month, someone who looks exactly like me will come to stay with her. Someone who looks exactly like you. Lin Ziyasu's heart skipped a beat. It's a biological intelligence robot whose main duty is to protect her. This is stipulated in the Qianlong regulations. Qianlong will provide family protection to those who have made significant contributions. Don't you think this method of protection is the most reasonable? Chang Yi said. Lin Ziyasu was impressed. Today's visit actually had this underlying purpose, to familiarize his mother with his appearance, and then to implant a robot bodyguard in Old Tashan village. To the villagers, this beautiful woman was to be the Lin family's daughter-in-law. Even his own mother believed so. Who would have thought this was just a robotic bodyguard? Wait, a robotic bodyguard? Could it really fool everyone? The difference between humans and machines was that humans needed to eat, drink, defecate, and sleep, while machines only needed to recharge. Could it be that this daughter-in-law was planning not to dine with her future mother-in-law? That's right, she mentioned a biological intelligence robot. Biological intelligence robot, wasn't it still not truly breakthrough? Lin Ziyasu caught on to this doubt. He was aware of the concept of biological intelligence robots from the Qianlong archives, and he was astounded by the idea. Everyone was familiar with robots. They were merely metallic skeletons controlled by electronic components, powered by electricity, following a purely technological path. However, biological intelligence robots took a different track, the path of bionics. The initial design was ambitious, to fully mimic bone and muscle tissue, including the circulatory and digestive systems. In other words, these robots could eat, drink, defecate, and sleep just like humans. This path was not trivial. Its extraordinary aspect was not that it opened up a new avenue for robot application, but rather another path, medicine. Once truly accomplished, what would it mean? It would mean the artificial creation of all organs required by the human body. When that day comes, if human organs are damaged, you could just go to a 4S shop for maintenance. Think about it, a car from 100 years ago, if you're willing to spend money on spare parts, could still run even after it was supposed to be scrapped. In the case of humans, wouldn't this be a solid step toward immortality? This is a great concept. When Lin Ziyasu saw it, it was still just an idea. And now it has actually become a reality. With genius scientists solved this century-old problem. Chang Yi smiled. The biological intelligent robot project had been unable to make a breakthrough for a long time, simply because a key chain could not be connected and human bioelectricity could not be generated. But recently, we finally made a breakthrough. You're part of this epic-making team. I am, and so are you. Lin Zaiasu was surprised. Me too. Chang Yi's smile held a bit of mystery. Remember that green orchid? It had 8 grapes. Those grapes are extremely magical. I extracted a substance from these grapes that does not belong to this world, breaking through this barrier. Regrettably, there were only 8 grapes, and currently, we can't replicate this substance. Lin Zaiasu sighed deeply. It really is like the butterfly effect. They say a butterfly flapping its wings on the taping east coast can cause a tornado on the west coast. Who would have thought that an adventure from the past could yield scientific advancements? The harvest is not just as simple as that. At the very least, it has brought you into Qianlong's perspective. At the same time, it has also brought certain people within Qianlong into our sight. These words had profound implications. Because of Lin Zaiasu's outstanding performance in that operation, he had become a target for some people. And those people, because of their suppression towards Lin Zaiasu, had come into the sight of Chang Yi, her faction, and herself. Same old saying, some things you can only do, not talk about. Lin Zaiasu stared into her eyes. Chang Yi's eyes flickered with a ghostly light in the darkness. Don't worry, I'm no fool, and neither are you. Don't act like one. You can rest assured about my end. And you can be even more assured about my end. I'm off. Chang Yi's figure rose and blended into the night. Lin Zaiasu walked back to Fengcheng. He circulated his true qi into his legs, picking up speed, until by Tashan Lake he was almost skimming over the grass. Such was the wonder of ancient martial arts. But upon reaching the county city, his speed slowed down, as he drifted with the leisurely crowd back to the detective agency. The goal of opening the detective agency was to spare his father the hardships of working away from home. Today, he had already spoken to his mother, and she would likely make a phone call, but whether his father would truly return was uncertain. In parents' eyes, their children always come first. Parasitizing is a derogatory term. On the contrary, freeloading from the young is a psychological barrier that traditional parents struggle to overcome. Their prevailing belief is to suffer and struggle themselves rather than let their children bear burdens. If you don't let them carry this burden, they feel they've lost their purpose in life. Oh well, let it be. Inside the detective agency, the night was deep. The outside rolling shutter door was pulled down, and in the second-floor middle room, there was still a light on. Miao Ruolan had taken a bath and changed into her pajamas. The pajama top was quite short, bought last year, a bit tight this year, making her chest look particularly full. At this moment, she was lying on the bed underneath her, a painting. This painting had been made for Lin Zaiasu by that mysterious woman. In the painting, he looked handsome with a touch of detachment. This half-profile, Miao Ruolan liked it the more she looked at it. The painting was not embezzled by her. As soon as Lin Zaiasu returned, she gave it to him, but Lin Zaiasu didn't seem to care much, casually tossing it on the table in his room. While Miao Ruolan was tidying his room, the painting wasn't even on the table anymore. It had been blown under the bed by the wind. Miao Ruolan took the painting out, unsure how to discuss it with him. He clearly didn't value this painting. Did she need to remind him to value it? Forget it, why should a woman he had a mere fleeting encounter with, and no real relationship with, take up a space in his heart? I'll just keep the painting for you. And so, she brought the painting into her own room. From that day on, it became her ritual to look at the painting every night before sleep. Watching him sitting in a chair, reading a book, through the hustle and bustle outside the window, capturing his uniqueness, Miao Ruolan's thoughts wandered far. Her gaze was a bit misty, a bit melancholic. Or had he been these last few days? No reply to messages, phone calls. Should she call him? Miao Ruolan wouldn't easily call him, especially when he was on a mission, as she knew how dangerous this line of work could be. If he was on a covert mission at night, even a single ring or vibration from the phone could ruin his operation. He was definitely off on a special mission this time. She couldn't help him, and she absolutely couldn't spoil his task. But this inner longing. Suddenly, there was a sound of the rolling shutter door opening from outside. Miao Ruolan sprang to her feet, almost dashing out of her room at breakneck speed. Just as Lin Zaiasu stepped into the detective agency, the light on the second floor turned on. He looked up to see a Miao Ruolan whom he barely recognized standing in the corridor light on the second floor. Holy crap, those breasts. That trembling flesh. That skin on her body. Chapter 75. Chapter 75, Ancient Martial Taboo. Meow Rulan didn't notice the odd look in his eyes and quickly descended the stairs. You're back. Have you eaten? I have. Lin Zai also shifted his gaze away from her. I've been handling a big case these past few days. A big case, what kind? Have you heard about the Dell Company? Meow Rulan's mouth hung open. Who hadn't heard about Dell Company? The behemoth of pharmaceuticals in Fengcheng at the height of its fame was trampled into the mire, never to recover. It turned out that was the case he was working on. The last time we were fined, there was someone behind it all, instructing the City Security Bureau to drive our detective agency out of Fengcheng. The mastermind is none other than Dell Company's boss, Du Lifeng. Meow Rulan's heart thudded. So you dealt with him too. Lin Zaiasu, bold and resolute. Yes, those who offend our detective agency shall be pursued, no matter how far. Meow Rulan chuckled and lowered her head. As Meow Rulan lowered her head, her cheeks suddenly turned red. Standing in front of him wearing this extremely short nightgown for quite some time, she realized his gaze was a bit peculiar. With a whoosh, she darted into her room, completely out of reflex. That night, Meow Rulan drifted into sleep with an array of different thoughts. In her dreams, it seemed she was acting out a soap opera with this very scene, with a convoluted plot. Lin Zaiasu, on the other hand, slept soundly. Ever since the day they were fined by the City Security Bureau, he had been tirelessly working, catching several corrupt officials, tackling Dell Company, tracking Dongzi to another province, destroying the ant nest, strategizing against Dell, executing the final blow. Tonight, he could finally let all that go and allow his brain to rest. The next day, when Lin Zaiasu opened his eyes, he truly felt refreshed all over. Getting out of bed, he came downstairs. The detective agency had already opened, with a plastic bag containing a bowl of beef scallion noodles still steaming. This was the breakfast Rulan had brought him. It had nearly become a habit. Lin Zaiasu while eating the beef noodles. Rulan, have you taken any cases these last few days? There were two, both minor cases. I've already been working on them and settled one. The remaining one should be resolved today. Lin Zaiasu said, don't you feel that we need to hire someone? Hire someone? Meow Rulan had thought so, indeed. Lin Zaiasu was seldom at the detective agency during the day, either out on cases or reading in the library, leaving her alone in the shop. If there was a case requiring her to leave, the detective agency was left unattended. Especially these past few days, she was always running around, and the detective agency was often closed. They indeed needed to hire someone, at least someone who could take orders or handle the final payments when she and Lin Zaiasu were out on cases. But she hadn't brought it up herself because hiring staff costs money, and Meow Rulan always preferred to save when possible. At this moment, Lin Zaiasu brought it up. Do you have any suitable candidates? Meow Rulan asked him. Not at the moment, you. I don't have anyone either. Maybe you could set a salary range and I'll try to find someone, Meow Rulan suggested. If it's just for office work, maybe 4,000 is about right. 4,000 in Fengcheng isn't low. Even those public servants only take home around 3,000 to 4,000, but they have better benefits. With our small operation, we definitely can't offer benefits like the 5 insurances and 1 fund. Let's set it at 4,000 then. Work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., weekends off, public holidays synchronized with the national ones, and anyone willing to work overtime will be paid double. With weekends off and overtime pay, your conditions are a bit too generous. Lin Zaiasu smiled. Back when I was job hunting outside, I hated those ruthlessly exploitative capitalists. Now it's our turn to be capitalists should we become what we despised. Meow Rulan giggled. When I was being paid 50 yuan per class and still had to face other people's attitudes, why couldn't I have met a boss like you? Lucky you didn't meet one. If you had, you would have happily followed your boss, and where would I have met you? Where would I have met you? These words from him stirred something in Meow Rulan's heart. Indeed, as one walks through life, no one knows who they might meet around the next corner. If she hadn't met him, what would her life have been like? Thankful to good fortune, she hadn't met a decent capitalist. Today marks 1 month since we officially opened for business, Meow Rulan said. Is that so? I hadn't kept track that closely. There's already 180,000 on the account. Do you need money? Have the taxes, rent, and expenses all been settled? All settled, that's the net profit. Keep 2 or 3,000 as a reserve fund. The rest we split 50-50, and let's do this every month from now on. Little Sue, I still feel. I'd rather just take a salary, 8,000 a month will do. What are you talking about? I just mentioned, I despise those capitalists who exploit without care, and even worse are those who cheat their partners. Do you really want to force me to become what I hate the most? I said we'd split it, so we'll split it. But if I suddenly take home 70, 80,000, my mom might suspect I'm a mistress. Really, don't laugh. The door to the detective agency opened. A girl walked in. This girl wore glasses, her complexion was pale, and her eyes were full of blood vessels. It seemed like she had just gone through a severe ordeal in life. Excuse me, which one of you is Detective Lin? I am, you are. I am from Xiangxi. I would like you to help me handle a case. Xiangxi, a small town above Fengcheng, was formerly a town, now merged and under the administration of Fengshan Town, leaving to the world only the stream Xiangxi. The water of Xiangxi carried a mysterious fragrance, and the women from Xiangxi also had a unique body fragrance. This probably left the biggest impression of the former town on the people of Fengcheng County. Lin Xiaosu indeed smelled a scent different from perfume from her, very enduring, very fresh. What case? Lin Xiaosu asked. Miao Rulan stood up to pour her tea. The young woman slowly looked up. Homicide. Homicide. The teacup in Miao Rulan's hands trembled slightly. Lin Xiaosu frowned slightly. Homicide, shouldn't you be calling the police? The woman gently shook her head. Calling the police is useless, because all the signs indicate that the collapse of our house, crushing my parents, was just an accident. Such matters, even if the police were called, would only result in an accident report, not treated as a case. Why do you think it is a case? The woman said, because I know what Beiyang village is like, and I also know that the prime suspect had a fierce argument with my parents before they died, and I also know the collapse of our house fits right into that person's interests. Lin Xiaosu's eyes lit up. This woman, her thought process was very clear. She seemed to also be quite adept with legal matters. Such clients were rare. Miao Rulan handed her a cup of tea. Tell us more in detail. The woman took the teacup, thanked Rulan, and then started discussing the case. Her name was Josai, from Beiyang village. Her parents were farmers who raised her through college with just a few acres of thin farmland and woodland. She was about to graduate in a month, hoping to get a good job to support her parents, but then tragic news came from home. Her house suddenly collapsed, killing both her parents. She rushed back from Jiangcheng overnight, burying her parents, but the more she thought about it, the more she suspected it was the Liu family that had killed her parents. Because Liu Yuancheng, who managed Liu family affairs, produced a paper after the funeral, a document with her deceased parents' seals, a contract selling their family home to him for 30,000 yuan. Now that the house had collapsed, killing both parents, this plot of land, Liu Yuancheng intended to level it to expand the road to the mine. Miao Rulan's face slightly changed hearing this. Beiyang village's Liu Yuancheng, the heir of the ancient martial family. There were countless Lius in the county, but the one Miao Rulan was deeply familiar with was the Liu family. Because they were also an ancient martial family. But they tread a different path from the Miao family. The Miao family chose to integrate with ordinary people, sometimes even deliberately avoiding being labeled as ancient martial inheritors. In contrast, the Liu family made sure everyone knew they were ancient martial inheritors. They also leveraged this title, dominating the local area, and had established the largest quarry in Fengcheng, earning a fortune daily. It's them, Josai said. My parents called me half a month ago. They never mentioned selling our ancestral home, and I told them I no longer needed their financial support. They had no reason to sell our ancestral home. Moreover, upon returning home this time, I heard from others that just before our house collapsed, Liu Yuancheng rushed to our house and had intense arguments with my parents. In such circumstances, how could they possibly reach an agreement to sell the house? You mentioned, the agreement only had seals, no signatures, Lin Xiaosu asked. Yes, my parents could write, and the absence of signatures but presence of seals is suspicious. I even suspect he forced my parents' fingers to seal it. Another question, Lin Xiaosu said, is the location of your house very important? Yes, the mining path is right outside our yard. The road is too narrow for big vehicles to pass, and below is a cliff. The only way to clear the path is to demolish our house. For the mine, the Liu family has repeatedly bullied the locals and seized family properties. These incidents aren't isolated, Lin Ziasu breathed lightly. Yes, if you haven't experienced it yourself, it's hard to imagine how malicious and rampant this family can be. Chapter 76, not for money but for justice. Zai recounted everything about the Liu family. The Liu family contracted the mine more than 10 years ago, while the villagers were very simple-hearted. Believing that everyone in the village was like family, they were sympathetic to others, need to make money for their livelihood. Thus, the blasting of the mine and the flying limestone didn't cause the villagers to be overly concerned with them. But while the villagers showed understanding, he didn't return the favor. 5 years ago, as the mine's business expanded, Liu Yuancheng got an idea about a small mountain village at the foot of the mountain called Huaishuao. He wanted to flatten this small mountain village to build a stone material transfer station. But how could the villagers give up their ancestral lands just to accommodate him? 7 or 8 households had their fields here, their land here. The graves of ancestors going back 8 generations were here. They certainly wouldn't think of selling their fields, land, or homes. Then Liu Yuancheng started to play dirty. Huaishuao thus welcomed a living nightmare. The pigs, cattle, and chickens they were raising died batch after batch inexplicably. Their fruit trees were chopped down, roads were destroyed, and just as the electricity was connected, it would be cut off. Huaishuao began to become uninhabitable. If the villagers had another place to go, they really would have left. However, they were too poor. They had nothing outside the village, and no matter how difficult life became, they could only endure. Then the nightmare escalated. One night, several large rocks rolled down from the mountain, smashing 2 houses to pieces. The villagers couldn't bear it anymore. 4 or 5 of them went to the mine to confront the Liu family, and in the resulting argument, the 3rd son of the Liu family, Liu Liang, stepped forward and beat the 4 or 5 men so badly that they couldn't get out of bed for half a month. This event truly ignited the conflict between the Liu family and the villagers. Afterward, the Liu family stopped pretending. They committed an utterly inhumane act, and it was this act that let Zai realize that the Liu family was capable of anything. At this point, Zai's pale face turned faintly red. He took a sip of water and continued. It was in the dead of night. A family of 3 in the eastern part of Huaishuao was sleeping, their child only 3 years old. Their door was smashed open from the outside, and Liu Liang, the 3rd son of the Liu family, barged in with several men. His underlings held the man down, while Liu Liang pinned down the man's wife. In front of her husband and child, he raped the poor woman, and it wasn't just him. His underlings took turns. That night, the wretched cries of the women in Huaishuao circled in the night sky. The 7 or 8 households all heard it, but they dared not step out, dared not call the police, because there were men guarding every household's door. Anyone who dared make a sound, men would be beaten to death and women raped. Before dawn the next day, that family fled Fengcheng with their child in the night, because they were told that if they dared to report to the police, their son would be killed. 10 days later, all 7 or 8 households of Huaishuao had moved out, considering this place to be a real hell. Now Huaishuao was gone. The old site of small bridges over flowing streams had become the Liu family's stone material transfer station. Having finished, Zai's hand trembled slightly as he held his teacup. Miao Yuelan's face turned bright red with anger. Did no one really report it to the police afterward? The police came. I don't know if someone reported it in secret, but no one who dared to testify could be found. The family who suffered the greatest tragedy disappeared without a trace altogether, and they might never return to this place for the rest of their lives. Without the victims standing up, nor any witnesses, this human tragedy, which theoretically should be impossible in modern times, ended up unresolved. Zai said, "When I first heard about this incident, I was determined to study law, to seek justice for the villagers, but little did I expect that before I had a chance to secure justice for the villagers, we had to seek justice for my parents first. Studying law, administering justice, based on the foundation of evidence. Without evidence, everything amounts to nothing. This is why I sought help from the detective agency." Miao Yuelan stood up. "Little Sue, let's take on this case." In her eyes, there were flames of anger. As an ancient martial inheritor, she inherently carried the ancient martial gene, and what she could not stand the most was those who leveraged their ancient martial skills to oppress the good, especially when this oppression reached an appalling level. To rape a woman in front of her husband and child, what sort of person does this? It was even worse than the act of a beast. Lin Zaiasu said, "We'll take it." Josei bowed deeply. "Detective Lin, Detective Miao, I only have 3,000 yuan right now. I'll give it all to you. For the rest, whatever the amount, I promise to deliver it within a year." "We won't take money for this case," Lin Zaiasu said. "I'll take something else." "What?" Josei asked. "Justice and the will of heaven." Two small electric scooters, one belonging to Miao Ruolan, carrying her and Lin Zaiasu. The other was Josei's, and it was borrowed. The two scooters raced out of Fengcheng, heading up the road to the northwest. The left was Xiangxi. Xiangxi wasn't directly on their route, and Lin Zaiasu had only visited once as a child. Although it was just once, he vividly remembered the clear waters and wildflowers on both banks of Xiangxi, as well as the mysterious fragrance spoken of by the older generations. But Xiangxi today was nothing like before. The river water was no longer clear, turning milky, and wildflowers at this time of the year seemed coated with a layer of dust. The sky in the northwest was also shrouded in gray. The mine was not far away. After half an hour on the small electric scooters, they arrived at the foot of the mine. The upper part of the mine was halfway flattened. The lower part was green, but this greenness was off. Lin Zaiasu could tell at a glance that this was not the vegetation on the mountain, but a layer of green paint that had been applied. "They've painted it," Miao Ruolan also noticed. "This shows there must be a problem with the mine itself. Otherwise, there would be no need for them to paint it to evade satellite surveillance." It must be said, Miao Ruolan has also matured by now. She has started to study various legal regulations and has learned logical thinking. Lin Zaiasu's head gently nodded on her shoulder, acknowledging receipt. Miao Ruolan ahead continued, "Can we catch them on the illegal mining and truly shut down this quarry?" "That is a bit too complicated. The process will be lengthy and very unpredictable," Miao Ruolan said. "But this is the only breakthrough I can think of. The house has collapsed, and even if it really was some trick by them, it would be hard to find any clues." This time Lin Zaiasu didn't answer. Head Josei stopped, and Miao Ruolan's car also stopped. Parked in front of a store by the roadside. "There, that's Hua Shuao. Now there's only one old pagoda tree left, and the owl is gone." Josei pointed to a large open space ahead filled with various stones, with several vehicles loading and unloading. There was no longer any semblance of a village to be seen. Lin Zaiasu gently shook her head. "Online, it is said that dozens of natural villages disappear every day in Daxia. I've always interpreted it from the perspective of urbanization, but I never realized there was this new way for villages to disappear. The new way is being forcibly flattened by the power of darkness. Let's go look at your family's house." There, Josei pointed towards Mid-Mountain. Following her finger, one could see the ruins next to the mine road. The outline of a house still faintly visible, but it was clear that once the bulldozer pushed, it would soon vanish. "Let's go," Lin Zaiasu said. "Detective Lin, those people are still at the mine." Josei looked somewhat pale. "Don't be afraid," Miao Ruolan gently patted her shoulder. "I'm not afraid. My parents are already gone. What do I have to fear?" Josei said. "But you, this isn't your business." "Now it is," Lin Zaiasu said. "Let's go." Following the mining road upwards, about 2 li of distance, stood the ruins visible from the roadside. The house was made of red bricks, topped with tiles, likely built 20 or 30 years ago, a very ordinary rural house. As for being sturdy, that couldn't really be said, but if there was an external destruction, holding up for 40 or 50 years would be no issue, some even lasting over 100 or several hundred years. The house collapsed 7 days ago. It was only after Josei had finished handling her parents' funeral that she had time to come to the detective agency seeking a result. For 7 days, Lin Zaiasu, in fact, also secretly felt uneasy. The ability to reverse time also has its limits. Previously, when he traced back the Qingyuan temple taking case, the limit was 4 days. If it exceeded that time, then first-hand data could not be obtained, and the plan would need readjustment. He tried to activate his ability, and a miracle occurred. He easily crossed the 7-day timeline. Whether it was due to the frequent use of reverse time recently strengthening this skill, or the unblocking of all his meridians enhancing it, in any case, his ability to reverse time improved significantly. Under the reverse time, the scene before him underwent a miraculous change. It was like a film rewinding. The collapsed house was restored to a small farmhouse. The yard was overgrown with wildflowers, and even though the house was dilapidated, it was clean inside. Two people in their 40s or 50s were eating dinner inside when a middle-aged man strode in and kicked the door open, cracking the panels. Quarreling ensued. This was what the villagers mentioned, the quarrel between Liu Yuancheng and Zhou Zai's parents. Liu Yuancheng pulled out a paper, slapped it on the table, cracking it. Zhou Zai's father firmly shook his head. With a raise of his hand, Liu Yuancheng grabbed her father's right hand, pressed it onto the ink pad, and then onto the paper. Lin Zaiasu watched as the finger joints severely deformed. Then it was Zhou Zai's mother's turn to be pressed for a thumbprint. This was the origin of that agreement. When Liu Yuancheng walked out of the room with that paper, the real key moment came. He clapped his hand on several of the load-bearing pillars. Then he left without looking back. As he left, Zhou Zai's mother was helping her father get up from the ground. Just as Liu Yuancheng stepped onto the mine road, he threw a stone onto the house, and the house collapsed with a thunderous crash. Lin Zaiasu's eyes closed slightly, ending the reverse time. Everything he understood clearly. "Little Su, what's going on?" Miao Ruolan looked at the ruins, not knowing where to begin, then suddenly noticed Lin Su's expression and felt a slight jump in her heart. Lin Zaiasu took 3 steps forward, picking up 2 red bricks from the rubble. On these bricks, traces of cement could still be seen. He handed 1 brick to Miao Ruolan. "Take a look, what's strange about this brick?" Miao Ruolan took it, observing closely. "This brick." Pub. The brick crumbled to dust in her hands. Chapter 77. Chapter 77. The Unbelievable Expert of Ancient Martial. Miao Ruolan was suddenly startled. Although she could easily crush such a red brick, the problem was, she barely used any strength. Why was the brick so fragile? "This is a brick from a load-bearing column," Lin Zaiasu said. "Load-bearing? Such junk can bear loads." Miao Ruolan widened her eyes. Beside them, Zhou Zai was also shocked. "Are you saying there's something wrong with the building materials of my house?" "No, it's not what you think," Lin Zaiasu said. "The building materials themselves are not the problem, otherwise it wouldn't have stood for so many years. The real issue is that an ancient martial master slapped the load-bearing column." Zhou Zai's face turned pale. Miao Ruolan's heart raced. A single slap could shatter the bricks inside the bearing column. To what extent has his cultivation reached? Ancient martial arts have their own categories. Miao family's ancient martial rejuvenation technique is fundamentally oriented towards healing, and its offensive power is that strong. At least, she couldn't possibly shatter a load-bearing column with 1 slap. In her view, her father was also far from reaching this realm, unless he specifically developed a dedicated rejuvenation pathway in his hand. Lin Zaiasu looked up, his gaze passing over Miao Ruolan's shoulder, looking behind her. Miao Ruolan turned around and saw 5 young men. 3 with blonde hair, 1 with green hair, and the one in the middle looked the most normal with black short hair, but he was obviously the core of the 5. "It's Liu Liang, that's Liu Liang," Zhou Zai whispered to Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu's lips moved to Miao Ruolan's ear, and he whispered a sentence. Liu Liang, with a cigarette in his mouth and hands in his pockets, came over leisurely. His foot kicked up, and a brick almost flew past Lin Zaiasu's head. This movement was casually executed, yet thrilling. Zhou Zai's face changed. But Lin Zaiasu didn't even blink, just quietly watching him. "Who are you? What are you doing here at the mine?" Liu Liang spoke without removing the cigarette from his mouth, standing on a pile of bricks, also forming a condescending sense of pressure. 4 lackeys formed a half-moon shape, clustering behind him. "I am Detective Lin Zaiasu from Fengcheng Detective Agency," Lin Zaiasu said. "I came here to investigate the truth behind the death of Zhou family's elders 7 days ago." "Oh, a detective investigating a case," Liu Liang burst into laughter. "I thought you were filming a movie." The lackeys laughed along with him. Liu Liang waved his hand, finally removing the cigarette from his mouth and casually flicked it away, the butt astonishingly flying over 10 meters away, landing in a crack. In all fairness, that was a cool move. Unfortunately, Lin Zaiasu seemed to completely ignore it. Liu Liang asked, "What have you found?" "We have found it," Lin Zaiasu said. "This house collapsed because an inner family master shattered the load-bearing columns of the house." At this revelation, nearly everyone was taken aback. Zhou Zai was shocked. She studied law in college and had read too many case-related books. She understood the importance of evidence in a crime too well. Evidences, once meticulously discovered through investigation, should not be easily revealed to the suspects, as that could make them cautious and add unpredictable variables to further investigations. Yet Lin Zaiasu, like a greenhorn in handling cases, had directly revealed his trump card. And Liu Liang's casually indifferent smile suddenly disappeared, replaced by a sinister look. "Do you have evidence?" 4 words chilling to the bone. "Yes," Lin Zaiasu gently patted a cloth bag hanging on his body. "It has all been collected." "Let me see it." The moment the first word was spoken, Liu Liang was still 3 meters away. But by the last word he had moved, crossing 3 meters in an instant, his right hand like an eagle's claw, already grasping the strap of the bag on Lin Zaiasu's shoulder. However, he couldn't continue, because a hand landed on his own shoulder. "Miao Rulan." Miao Rulan pressed down her hand, locking the shoulder, causing Liu Liang's face to change instantly. Boom! With a jolt of her hand, Miao Rulan sent Liu Liang flying back more than 3 meters. Liu Liang stepped on a brick, which split into pieces, halting the force of the throw, but also giving him a clear view of Miao Rulan. "Ancient Marshal. A person from Miao family." "Yes," Miao Rulan said. "This is just a reminder to you, speak if you have issues, do not resort to violence. Or else I will dislocate your joints." "Such audacity! To talk to my big brother like this, I'll beat you to death." 2 blonde-haired individuals lunged at her, each holding a brick, aiming for Miao Rulan. Before she even got close, Miao Rulan lifted her left foot. In midair, her legs kicked out like a phantom, causing 2 red-haired men to jump over the brick pile in front and land 5 meters away. As the other 2 were about to strike, Liu Liang stretched out his hand to stop them. He knew very well that this Miao family girl's combat ability was superior to his own. "It doesn't bother me if you guys ask for trouble, but if her beating includes me because I'm the eldest brother, wouldn't that be a huge loss?" "Everything this morning is done," Lin Zaiasu said. "Let's go over there for lunch." He pointed to a small farm at the foot of the mountain. "Let's go." Miao Rulan grabbed Jose's hand, following Lin Zaiasu down the mountain. When they had left, 3 red-haired and 1 green-haired man approached Liu Liang. "Big brother, are we just letting them go?" "They haven't planned to leave yet. They probably want to ask around for information." Liu Liang's face revealed a sinister smile. "No need to rush." The small farm below the mountain was the most basic kind. There wasn't even a sign, just 2 large characters written on the wall with white lime. "Eat." That was all. "Why?" "There isn't much business here anyway, aside from out-of-town drivers hauling stones from the mines. Locals don't come here to eat. Those who know about it know. Those who don't, there's no hope they will. Why bother with a signboard?" Lin Zaiasu and the others entered. The small farm had no customers, just a farm lady washing vegetables in a large basin. Upon hearing their intent, she smiled happily, wiped her hands on her apron, got up to pour tea for them, and said, "You can tell from your attire that you are from the city. Please sit in the room over there." This room was considered a private room. Tea was served. It was this year's new tea, handmade. The appearance was hard to describe, but the taste was quite good. Josei cradled the teacup, seemingly distracted, repeatedly hesitating to speak. Lin Zaiasu looked at her several times and finally asked, "What do you want to say?" Josei put down her teacup. "Detective Lin, I have no say in the investigation. Please don't blame me if I speak wrongly, but I think you've made a mistake." "Go on." Josei said, "You just found this critical clue, but you told Liu Liang, giving them a chance to destroy the evidence. If they use a bulldozer to flatten that house and smash the bricks, wouldn't this chain of evidence be destroyed?" Miao Rulan's teacup stopped spinning, and she looked up. She was different from Josei. Josei did not know his wonders. She knew. But even though she was fully confident in his usual miraculous ways, she still felt that Lin Zaiasu's approach today was puzzling. As Josei said, such critical evidence chains should not be damaged. The right approach would be to first report to the police, let the police seal off the scene, obtain more evidence from this pile of rubble, gradually forming a complete chain, and only then there might be a chance to convict Liu Yuanchang. But revealing this evidence to Liu Liang firsthand, exposing such a vulnerability, he would surely destroy the evidence in advance. Just a push from a bulldozer and smashing the bricks, who could prove that these bricks once withstood the destruction by the inner strength of a practitioner of ancient martial. Wouldn't the hard-found evidence be ruined? Lin Zaiasu looked up, staring at Miao Ruolan. Ruolan, do you think so too? Ruolan hesitated for a moment, then gently nodded. I think Josai makes a good point. Lin Zaiasu said, you can accept that an ancient martial practitioner can destroy a load-bearing column with inner strength because you practice ancient martial, but other people might not accept that. This evidence brought to court inherently lacks persuasiveness. So this evidence isn't important on its own, Miao Ruolan said. The evidence is important but cannot be used alone. We need corroborative evidence. Corroborative evidence, Miao Ruolan frowned. What kind of corroborative evidence? Like recording an image of Liu Yuancheng punching the wall. Zhou Zai's heart pounded. As he said, it's absurd to use a few bricks that have had their internal structures destroyed and lost their load-bearing ability to prove that her house was forcibly collapsed by a practitioner of ancient martial. The court absolutely wouldn't accept it. However, if it was recorded on video, Liu Yuancheng punching a wall, and the internal structure of the wall truly changed, only then could a complete chain of evidence be formed. But, Zhou Zai said, now that Liu Liang knows, he will definitely contact his dad immediately. Liu Yuancheng is not a fool. How could he possibly demonstrate to us and allow us to record it? The intelligence of Liu Yuancheng aside. The key point is his lifetime of wrongdoing and still being free to this day. Such a person, you can question his character, but you must not doubt his counter-investigation awareness. An ancient martial practitioner, knowing his martial arts skills have been linked to a murder case, would he still exhibit them to reinforce the impressions of the investigators? He would most likely deliberately hide the shocking ability. You want to record him punching a wall. It's not just harder than reaching the sky, it's pure fantasy, Lin Zaiasu smirked. Everyone says it's easier to change the mountains than alter one's nature. Although it's not absolutely true, in most cases it is. Zhou Zai's eyes were sweating slightly as she looked at the road outside, feeling something was amiss with the cars passing by. Chapter 78, Night Entry into the Liu Family. Miao Ruolan said, you just asked me to perform at full strength, wasn't it to deter them and prevent them from doing whatever they please? Yes, when Liu Liang appeared just now, Lin Zaiasu whispered these words to her, to display her full strength and use her ancient martial skills to deter everyone present. It's to deter Liu Liang, not them. Liu Liang them, is there a difference? Of course there is a difference. With your cultivation, you can make Liu Liang dare not act, but it also forces Liu Yuancheng to act personally. Miao Ruolan felt a great turbulence in her heart. She finally understood the entire investigative chain of Lin Zaiasu. Each step was unimaginable. Finding evidence of ancient martial crimes was unimaginable. Telling the opponent in advance was unimaginable. In front of the key figures of the opponent, unleashing her full power, the real purpose was not to deter but to fish. He had a clear understanding of the Liu family's nature. He knew that the Liu family would not allow them to leave Beiyang village with unknown evidence. If Liu Liang could take them down, the scene would be under control. If Liu Liang couldn't handle it, Liu Yuancheng must personally take action. He wanted Liu Yuancheng to personally act. This was his step-by-step planning and strategy. When to take action. Since it's fishing, a time window with the most imaginative scope must be provided for the fish. Tonight. The weather forecast says there will be heavy rain late tonight, truly a dark moon night for murder, a windy day for starting fires. The following time seemed infinitely long in Zhou Zai's heart. After eating lunch, the three of them did not leave. Lin Zaiasu chatted with a few drivers who came for lunch, talked about the mines, the mine bosses, the transit station below, and the past Huashu Ao village. This was unmistakably gathering evidence of the Liu family's crimes. Sadly, those passing drivers were very cautious, mostly feigning ignorance about topics involving the Liu family. In the small farmhouse, there was another guest, a young man dressed in ordinary clothes, playing with his phone on the corridor. Lin Zaiasu seemed not to notice him at all. The afternoon passed just like that. As the sun set, the sky gradually darkened. Finally, Lin Zaiasu and the two women left the farmhouse courtyard. Turning around the corner, Zhou Zai looked towards the mid-hillside, her eyes full of fury. Miao Ruolan followed her gaze, and where her family house once stood, a bulldozer was working overnight, probably busy the entire day. Where headlights reached, the house was completely gone. The ruins seen in daytime were now flattened. This was the aftermath of Lin Zaiasu's investigation today. It expedited the opponent's pace in leveling the ground. Miao Rulan sighed lightly. Don't mind it, your home was unlivable anyway. It's not the house I care about. Josei said half a sentence and swallowed the rest, as she didn't know how to express that with the house flattened and the bricks thoroughly sorted after a whole day of bulldozing. Maybe not a single intact brick could be found. Was the evidence chain completely destroyed? Lin Zaiasu did not look in that direction. He gazed at a villa. That villa was probably the most luxurious one within 30 miles. It occupied a vast area, in an excellent location. The villa had rockeries and garages, and there were 3 cars in the garage. Through 300 meters distance, through the night, Lin Zaiasu clearly saw the car brands, all worth millions. He raised his sight to the rooftop, where the ceiling was made of glass atop a tea room, quite elegant. He had seen someone through reverse time, Liu Yuancheng, sitting on the rooftop right now. Without stars or moon, under dense clouds, he sat on the rooftop, probably thinking no one could see him. But Lin Zaiasu certainly could. Let's go, Liu Yuancheng has gone home. Lin Zaiasu strode towards the villa. The 2 women exchanged glances and followed him. Liu Yuancheng on the rooftop picked up his phone. It was Liu Liang calling. Dad, they've gone towards the villa. Liu Yuancheng abruptly stood up, his eyes deep and boundless, capturing through the night the 3 people walking towards the villa from 300 meters away. Liu Yuancheng spoke in a deep voice. Is there any news from the county? None. I've arranged people outside the police station, and on both sides of the highway, no unusual activity. Liu Yuancheng pondered for a moment. Except for those at the police station, withdraw everyone else back. All right, I'll block his escape route from behind and let's see. The gates of Liu's villa were also immensely wide. Lin Zaiasu gently knocked on the door, and soon, a young man dressed in a black tracksuit came over. An induction light under the tree also lit up as he approached, though the light was dim, almost eerie, casting his face into sharp relief. He was Liu Yuancheng's eldest son, Liu Jun, who generally managed the quarry's affairs. You are, Liu Jun, unlike Liu Liang, had a very composed demeanor and spoke quite affably. Fengcheng Detective Agency, Lin Zaiasu. I'm investigating a case and would like to talk to Liu Yuancheng. Come in. Liu Jun stepped aside, allowing the 3 to enter the courtyard. He lightly waved his hand and the courtyard gate closed. But it wasn't locked. Miao Rulan noticed this. Her gaze pierced through the night sky behind her, noting that some vehicles on the road seemed suspicious. Inside the courtyard, 2 massive wolf dogs, their eyes fiercely glowing, lurked in the darkness. Entering the grand villa, a luxurious living room lay ahead, where Liu Yuancheng was seated at the far end of a vast sofa. In front of him was a set of mahogany tea set. He sat there, brewing tea, appearing less like a ruthless ancient martial inheritor and more like a successful business tycoon. Liu Yuancheng, right? Lin Zaiasu walked over. Yes, are you Detective Lin from Fengcheng Detective Agency? Liu Yuancheng stood up. Yes. The tea is ready, please have a seat, Detective Lin. Please everyone sit. Liu Yuancheng was smiling. Lin Zaiasu sat opposite him, with Josei sitting beside him. Miao Rulan did not sit. She stood behind Lin Zaiasu, while Liu Jun, with arms crossed, stood next to the sofa. 3 cups of tea were served on the coffee table opposite them, but no one reached for them. Lin Zaiasu spoke up. Don't bother being polite, we came here today not intending to exchange courtesies. Well then, speak frankly, Detective Lin, responded Liu Yuancheng. Lin Zaiasu said, I'm here today at the request of Josei to investigate her parents' death. I've completed my investigation, and it was you, Liu Yuancheng, who caused their deaths. The room fell silent at once. It seemed as though even breathing had stopped. A woman who had just reached the 2nd step of the stairs on the upper floor suddenly stopped. Liu Yuancheng's face stiffened slightly, but then his smile reappeared. Detective Lin, you're talking nonsense. His tone was amiable, but the language was unapologetically harsh. You probably think I can't find any evidence, right? Lin Zaiasu leaned slightly forward. That just shows you know nothing about the sophisticated methods used in modern criminal investigations. Is that so? Liu Yuancheng leaned back slightly, hands spread on the sofa. Let's hear it. What evidence do you have? True Qi operates in ancient martial arts. Each lineage has its unique operational traces, and this brick you shattered contains the special power rules of your Liu family's True Qi. Lin Ziasu extended his hand and pulled out a red brick from the bag he carried. The brick looked intact, but Lin Ziasu held it carefully. Liu Yuanchang's smile remained, but his eyes fixed on the brick were devoid of any hint of humor. Many have heard tales of ancient warriors killing people incognito, and those experienced in these matters could identify the assailant by the wounds. We've seen plenty of such movie plots. Although movies are unreliable, who's to say what modern criminal forensics is really like? Lin Ziasu continued. That contract was signed by you forcing Zhou's parents hands down, crushing their finger bones in the process. 30,000 yuan, yet you planned to murder without paying a dime. You didn't even leave them 3 yuan. You struck each of the 8 load-bearing beams 1 palm, and after leaving, you threw a rock at the household's ornamental wall. This rock was the last straw that collapsed the house. Isn't that right? Josai felt as if the Yangtze River was roaring eastward in her heart. But she forcibly suppressed her grief, because she was recording with a phone she pressed against her chest, seemingly holding herself, but actually using the device inside her clothes. No one noticed her, because everyone was captivated by Lin Ziasu's words, their hearts pounding. Even someone like Liu Yuancheng, who had weathered many storms, felt his heart beat chaotically, experiencing it as if he was witnessing it firsthand. Was this the prowess of modern criminal forensics? Was this the legendary detective of Fengcheng? It was 100 times more miraculous than the legends. You're slandering. Liu Yuancheng abruptly stood up. Don't rush. There's more to say. The crimes committed by your Liu family don't stop here. Lin Ziasu raised his hand to stop him. For instance, the tragic human incident at Huashuao village years ago. You really think I can't seek justice for those villagers? What does Huashuao have to do with my Liu family? Liu Yuancheng's forehead veins bulged. Lin Ziasu said, your third son, Liu Liang, and his 5 followers, raped a woman in front of her husband and children, taking turns. You arranged for people to block the doors of 8 village households, warning them that if they called the police, they would be killed. Liu Yuancheng, your Liu family's history of committing evils is unprecedented. Back then, you forced the couple to flee, but believe me, if I want to, I can find that couple amidst the vast sea of people, and I can also bring those 8 neighboring households to testify in court to expose your crimes. Know what would happen once exposed. Your Liu family would become a prime target in the crackdown on gangsters, and the final curtain of your family's life will be a major highlight in the police's report. The gate creaked softly as someone entered, the movement extremely light. The people in the hall seemed entirely unaware, but Liu Yuancheng's expression gradually changed to calm. Lin Ziasu, I believe you. Those 6 words were calm and subdued. Yet Zhou Zai and Miao Rulan both felt a jolt in their hearts. Chapter 79, The Decisive Kill. What do you believe? Lin Ziasu said. Liu Yuancheng slowly bent down. I believe that with your abilities, you can indeed uncover the truth behind the incident at Huashuao years ago, and you can certainly make my Liu family restless. It was meant to be, Lin Ziasu said. Unfortunately, you still trust the law too much. What do you mean? Lin Ziasu stared at him. Now that you let me find out how badass you are, do you think I would let you leave the Liu family alive? You dare to kill to silence someone. Lin Ziasu was greatly shocked. Killing to silence. Isn't that the usual method of my Liu family, as per your dictionary? If killing 2 from the Zhou family is murder, killing you would be murder too. What's so grand about killing 3 more? A voice came from the door. These 2 women, there's no need to kill them for the time being. Aren't you very interested in the incident at Huashuao years ago? I can break your limbs and then rape these 2 women in front of you. It was Liu Liang. Beside him stood another man with a buzz cut, Liu Zi, the second brother of the Liu family. The 3 Liu brothers had gathered, with the Liu family master present, and the 11 most loyal backbones of the Liu family were all in the courtyard. Josai felt a chill down her spine. Was this step within your calculation? You had already foreseen that Liu Yuancheng would take direct action to seize the evidence, but did you calculate that they would dare to directly commit murder? And accompanied by the haunting memories of Huashuao that sent shivers down her spine. If Miao Rulan couldn't hold off the opponent, the things Liu Liang spoke of could happen. They could break their limbs, forcibly assault her and Miao Rulan, ending their lives in the most humiliating manner, and then flatten their bodies with a bulldozer. She didn't dare to think any further. Whoosh! The lights in the living room seemed to suddenly dim. A fist abruptly punched out, aiming at Miao Ruolan. Liu Jun, the eldest of the Liu family, made his move. During the whole process, he hadn't said a word, seemingly an outsider with his arms crossed. But now he struck, his punch like bringing thunder and lightning, directly aimed at Miao Ruolan, as she was the only obstacle they considered. As the fist flew, Miao Ruolan suddenly rose to her feet. With the fist 5 inches away, Miao Ruolan swiftly lifted her hand, and a stick struck out. Boom! The stick broke into pieces upon collision with the fist, which also retracted. Liu Jun had a pained expression on his face. The back of the sofa behind Miao Ruolan was gone. She had broken the backrest to deliver her first strike, but unfortunately, it was not enough to break Liu Jun's hand, instead drawing out another vicious punch. With this punch, a violent wind seemed to blow through the room. The eye of the storm was centered on Miao Ruolan's head. Miao Ruolan tiptoed, leapt over the sofa and kicked up, striking the punch squarely. With a thunderous impact, Liu Jun was pushed back more than 5 meters, while Miao Ruolan was also forced back 3 meters. In the Liu family, other than Liu Yuancheng, the top expert Liu Jun faced Miao Ruolan head-on but couldn't gain any advantage. Second brother, Go, Liu Jun attacked from the left while Liu Zi made his move on the right. Miao Ruolan twisted her body, like a butterfly weaving through flowers, evading the combined strike, and suddenly kicked out. This kick was mysteriously unpredictable, sending Liu Zi crashing out of the hall. Boom! Her right foot collided again with Liu Jun's fist, and as usual, Liu Jun was repelled by her kick. She too slammed hard into the wall behind her. Just when Miao Ruolan's waist was about to bounce back, a fist, swift as lightning and fierce as thunder, came head-on. Miao Ruolan could only see the ferocious face behind the fist, with no chance to dodge this thunderous blow. Liu Yuancheng. He personally took action. His strike was indeed precise and ruthless. The timing of the combat was also extremely accurate. Miao Ruolan by herself was fighting against 2 great experts. Her previous force was spent, and new strength had not yet arisen. How could she possibly stop Liu Yuancheng's full-force strike? Just when Miao Ruolan was feeling utterly hopeless, suddenly a strong force came through, causing Miao Ruolan to uncontrollably crash to the left. Liu Yuancheng's fist heavily hit the wall. With a snap, the beam vibrated, and a long crack appeared on the wall. The steel-reinforced concrete wall actually cracked by his punch. Had this fist struck Miao Ruolan's head, her head would have been pulverized. The house shook, and the chandelier swung violently. Everyone was stunned for a moment. Lin Ziasu appeared in front of this wall at some unknown time, facing Liu Yuancheng head-on, and Miao Ruolan was beside him. It was he who made a move in the nick of time, pulling Miao Ruolan to safety. Liu Yuancheng stared at the suddenly appearing Lin Ziasu, his eyes filled with shock. Others may not know how Lin Ziasu appeared, but how could he not? This speed was non-human. None of the strange cases solved by the rumored Fengcheng Detective Agency included Lin Ziasu's fighting prowess. He's a local and has always been an ordinary person. How could he possibly have such fast movement techniques? Could it be that he has secretly cultivated ancient martial arts? But that makes no sense at all. If he were to cultivate ancient martial arts, it would only be Miao family ancient martial arts. The biggest drawback of Miao family ancient martial arts is that it's incredibly hard to get started. How could he possibly have achieved it in a short period of time? Lin Ziasu laughed. Liu Yuancheng, you've been fooled. Fooled? Why do you think I entered the Liu family to analyze the case, to boast about my intelligence? Lin Ziasu said. The real purpose was just one, to arouse your killing intent, to make you go all out. Liu Yuancheng's pupils suddenly contracted. Lin Ziasu continued. This punch, its force is no less than the 8 palms you displayed at the Zhou family. Just need a professional instrument for monitoring, and it can calculate the power of your punches, as well as the damage to the bricks inside this wall. Combined with the bricks I brought out from the Zhou family for comparative analysis, the evidence of your murder of the Zhou family's elderly will be perfectly closed. Everyone from the Liu family twitched their eyelids. Cold sweat seeped out from their backs. Even those who don't understand criminology found Lin Ziasu's words extremely dangerous. Truly irrefutable evidence. Liu Yuancheng slowly raised his gaze. Too bad you've forgotten. Today you're not going anywhere. Inside and outside the hall, everyone's nerves simultaneously snapped tight. Kill them, leave no one alive. Liu Yuancheng ordered in a heavy voice. Everyone lunged at the same time. "Idiots," Lin Ziasu uttered just 2 words. A mountain-like shadow loomed before him. A huge fist came rushing towards his face, Liu Yuancheng, targeting Lin Ziasu specifically. Just as this fist was about to hit, Lin Ziasu didn't dodge or evade. He suddenly raised his right hand, also delivering a punch. Boom! Fists collided. Liu Yuancheng's face twisted violently. His arm, his meridians were damaged. Lin Ziasu's punch was the same one he had used to kill the poisonous lizard man. The scales of the poisonous lizard man's scale armor were difficult to penetrate. Bullets merely itched, but Lin Ziasu's punch went through the outer layer and struck the core. Killing this bulletproof genetic person was even easier than using dragon scale. Today, for the first time used on an ancient martial cultivator, it couldn't destroy the bones protected by his true chi, but it did destroy the meridians of his arm. Lin Ziasu also showed an unusual complexion. The force of Liu Yuancheng's punch was terrifying, and without personal experience, it was unimaginable that such a bizarre force could exist. The punch itself was immensely powerful. But that was not all there was to the power. The force seemed to carry a tearing inner strength. Upon colliding with Lin Ziasu's fist, it felt as if countless streams of chi flowed like alls up his arm, but Lin Ziasu's specialty also fully came into play. The meridians in his hands were all cleared, including the invisible minor meridians, half of which were opened. When these minor meridians were cleared, they formed a complex labyrinth. The tearing true chi entered this maze, filling it up, and in the process of filling, the force quietly dissipated. For a moment, he even felt that this arm had an unusually affluent true chi flow, and its strength became greater. Swoosh! Liu Yuancheng's left fist struck out again, at a very tricky angle. It was about to hit Lin Ziasu's chin. Suddenly, with a sidestep, Lin Ziasu punched again, hitting the target. With this punch, Liu Yuancheng screamed in pain. His left arm was violently shattered. But Liu Yuancheng, as the Liu family's current head of ancient martial inheritors, would not be taken lightly after 50 years of practice. Even with a broken arm, his legs were still lethal weapons. Whoosh, like a windmill, his legs arrived in the air. This was no longer an attack method from modern society. Unfortunately, Lin Ziasu's reaction once again exceeded his expectations. Dodging the threat, his foot kicked Liu Yuancheng flying, and the next moment he suddenly appeared on Liu Yuancheng's flight path, his right fist full of force. This punch hit Liu Yuancheng squarely in the back. Crack, Liu Yuancheng's entire spine shattered into debris, and of course, the nerves along the spine also became a mess. On the other side, Liu Jun and Liu Zi teamed up against Miao Ruolan. Their Liu family ancient martial arts were so powerful that anyone hit by it would find it tough, but unfortunately for them, Miao Ruolan's greatest strength was her agile movement technique. No matter how fierce your attack, if you can't hit, it's useless. Occasionally, her counters were extremely ingenious, causing the Liu family's 2 powerful experts to fight for a long time without even touching a single hair on her. Instead, she kicked them several times. And others who wanted to step in and help. Liu Liang was just about to enter when he was kicked out by Miao Ruolan. A renowned ancient martial inheritor couldn't even enter his own hall. And the other underlings, with knives and daggers shining in their hands, could only shout and cheer from the sidelines. Liu Jun was getting into the swing of things. With a raise of his hand, he pulled out a dagger. Just at that moment, he suddenly froze. Why was his father laying on the ground? A shadow flitted by his side. Lin Ziasu appeared. Without even thinking, Liu Jun thrust out with the dagger, but Lin Ziasu, who had only just appeared, vanished once again. At the chilling moment in Liu Jun's heart, a thud in the back, his eyes widened, and he slowly slid down against the wall. Liu Zi was shocked. Eldest brother. Thud, a kick landed precisely on Liu Zi. It came from Miao Ruolan. Liu Zi soared into the air, flying backward. Just as he was about to hit the wall, a punch appeared out of nowhere, striking his back. Liu Zi went down, turning into a heap of mud. Finally, Liu Liang successfully entered the hall, followed by a group of his underlings bursting in with great momentum. But they all froze. Each of the Liu family's top fighters were like mud. At this moment, Liu Liang, who behaved outrageously, disregarding the laws of the land as though they were nothing, felt a chilling feeling in his heart. Liu Liang, I hear you enjoy lounging in bed. Congratulations, the rest of your life you will spend it in bed. As Lin Ziasu's voice fell, he reached Liu Liang's side. His fist rose and Liu Liang's spine was destroyed, nerves severed. The faces of the underlings turned ashen, their hands clenching daggers and knives trembling with all their might. Chapter 80, The Fall of the Liu Family. The so-called "it is the fault of the father if a child is not taught properly," Lin Zaiasu said, cripple them and let their parents pay for the rest of their lives. Miao Ruolan stepped forward, her legs moving in a swift sequence of kicks. Almost at the same time, more than 10 figures flew high into the air, landing in the courtyard in front, twisting and screaming in agony. Lin Zaiasu's eyes widened in shock. "Comrade Little Miao, you're a woman. Is this how you cripple people?" Kicking straight into people's groins. That thing is obviously completely ruined. Not even immortals could get them up again, and at the same time, their intestines are probably smashed to bits. I wonder if their families have enough money to cover their costs. But as Lin Zaiasu said, for such bad seeds to exist in this world, their parents should be alert, and if they can't bear legal responsibility, let them bear the financial losses. In the hall, a woman screamed sharply and rushed down, throwing herself towards Josei, who was sitting on the sofa. Josei suddenly raised his head and grabbed the ashtray from the coffee table. Bang! He heavily smashed it on the woman's head. Blood flowed from the woman's forehead, and she swayed, staring at Josei. Finally, she also collapsed. Aside from the intermittent screams in the courtyard, the hall was eerily quiet. Lin Zaiasu turned back from the doorway and approached Liu Yuancheng. Liu Yuancheng struggled to raise his head, but unfortunately, his entire spine was crippled, and his nerves were severed, making even this simple movement impossible. However, his eyes, filled with venomous and insane fury, seemed to memorize every single feature of Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu smiled. "Liu Yuancheng, I gave you an illusion. You always thought that my goal was to find evidence of your crimes, but that's not it. For people like you, for families like yours that you painstakingly manage, even if evidence of your crime is found, you might get jailed for a few years and then be released. I don't want to see that happen, so the last move I designed for you is to legally cripple your entire Liu family under the guise of self-defense, completely ending this wrongful ancient martial lineage. Josei, you don't need to record this part." Josei's phone was wet with sweat, and she hurriedly stopped recording. She urgently deleted the latter half. As she edited it, her hands trembled and her heart wouldn't stop racing. Lin Zaiasu's investigation was once again a blind spot in her perception. Today, the last link they guessed wrong again. His real reason for entering the Liu family wasn't to get evidence. As he said, the Liu family made a fortune from their quarry, and they surely had greased the wheels in various sectors. Even if evidence of his crimes was obtained and he was caught, who could know for how long he'd be imprisoned? After coming out, he'd still have plenty of free days to enjoy and might even seek revenge on them. Thus, Lin Zaiasu never planned to follow this conventional legal path. What he wanted was just a reason for self-defense. Once he had the reason, he could freely enact a slaughter, decisively crippling everyone in the Liu family, physically ending this ancient martial lineage. Without ancient martial skills providing support, the people from Liu family couldn't stir up any trouble. "I'll call Zhou Mei," Miao Ruolan said. "Poor Zhou Mei, one case after another, when will it end? Go ahead." As Lin Zaiasu said, at this moment, Zhou Mei was so busy and overwhelmed. Suddenly receiving a call from Miao Ruolan and hearing the situation here, she was shocked. "You guys caused such a big disruption again." Chief Zhang suddenly looked up, and several policemen stared at the agitated Zhou Mei. Zhou Mei hung up the phone and took a deep breath. "Chief Zhang, Lin Zaiasu and Miao Ruolan went to Beiyang village. Liu family wants to silence them." Chief Zhang was shocked. "Ancient martial Liu family?" "Yes." Chief Zhang's forehead veins bulged. "Then we need special forces." As the chief of the criminal investigation team, how could he not know about the ancient martial Liu family? They were a point of major concern within the bureau. Regular police couldn't subdue them at all. To save people from the jaws of death, only the special forces could do it. But what Zhou Mei said next dumbfounded everyone. The Liu family was counterkilled by them altogether. Liu Yuancheng, Liu Jun, Liu Zi, Liu Liang, all were crippled by them. The meeting room fell into an absolute silence, dead quiet. Chief Zhang licked his lips. "Miao Ruolan, is she that fierce? Shall we go?" "Go?" When Chief Zhang and Zhou Mei led more than a dozen policemen there, despite being forewarned, they were still shocked by the scene before them. In the courtyard, Men with yellow, green, and mixed hair screamed desperately. Inside the hall, the four pillars of the eerie and formidable ancient martial Liu family, feared by the locals to even speak out against, had all been smashed to pieces. The mistress of the villa, once the socialite of Fengcheng, lay on the ground, her forehead still bleeding. Lin Ziasu, Miao Rulan, and another girl sat leisurely on the sofa, sipping tea. Chief Zhang, a loud cry came from the ground. Lin Ziasu is entrapping, she is fishing for legal enforcement. The police officers looked at each other, wondering what game was being played now. Lin Ziasu put her teacup on the table and stood up. So you're just brainless, I'm not even a law enforcement officer. What are you talking about fishing for enforcement? Call an ambulance first, ordered Chief Zhang. Zhou Mei immediately took action. Chief Zhang's gaze shifted towards Lin Ziasu. Tell us about the situation. The case was described during the wait for the ambulance. Evidence was presented. A red brick from a load-bearing pillar originally belonging to the Zhou family's ancestral home, which should not have been convincing to the police. But the shocking fist imprint and the long crack on the villa's wall made everyone believe. There was another piece of evidence, a video recorded by Zhou Zai throughout. As soon as the video was played, the whole truth of the case was revealed. The four people from the Liu family lying on the ground felt a chill on their backs, realizing that not only were their martial abilities destroyed, but with their involvement in a murder and a gang rape case, the Liu family's businesses were in big trouble too, especially as the police dug out some secret account books from the villa, and the illegal operation chain of the quarry became more complete. Now their businesses were done for. Those who protected them, their so-called protectors, were also facing great trouble. Zhou Zai sent this video to Zhou Mei. Then the three left the Liu family premises, leaving the police with a huge case that might take days and nights to solve. Watching them walk away side by side, Chief Zhang stood in the courtyard smoking. The glowing cigarette tip highlighted his furrowed brows deeply. Captain Zhang, Liu Yuancheng's recent fishing for enforcement accusation was quite interesting. A very low voice said by his ear, it was Wang Dong. Wang Dong originally appeared as someone retired due to illness within the department. After the big case on May 16th, he began to show his true colors. It turned out that this old comrade hadn't been sick or retired, but was secretly doing some very important things. A heavy responsibility then followed. Thus, the department gave him a deputy captain's position, partly as a reward and partly to let this old ox keep plowing. Chief Zhang's eyes shifted slightly, with no one else within at least 10 meters. What are you trying to say? Wang Dong said, I think this young guy indeed has elements of fishing. His real purpose is not to gather evidence. His real aim is to destroy the Liu family. If you ask him that, guess whether he admits it or not, Chief Zhang said. He'd be crazy to admit it. Not necessarily. If you ask him with goodwill, he would definitely deny it under the attitude of avoiding more trouble than less. If you ask him with malice, he would outright admit it and you would die of rage, Captain Zhang said, because even if he is fishing, it won't change the outcome. The elements for legitimate self-defense only have 3 rigid conditions. As long as triggered, they meet the self-defense premise, regardless of his subjective intention. Captain Zhang, you misunderstood me. Whether it's fishing or not does matter. Chief Zhang frowned. Wang Dong said, if it's just investigating a case, it's official business. His enmity with the Liu family wouldn't be that deep. But if his initial intention was to ruin the Liu family, then it goes beyond simple case investigation, and the Liu family would truly regard him as an archenemy. Chief Zhang's eyes flickered. Are you talking about Liu Kaiying's son? Yes, although she rarely returned after going to college, this is ultimately her home, and at Changsheng Group, it is said she is highly trusted by the top executives. With her ancient martial skills, her level of knowledge, her network resources, running a small-town detective agency doesn't seem hard. Chief Zhang slowly said, take some time, give him a heads up. Forget it, you shouldn't show up, let Zhou Mei talk to him instead. This kid has more and more enemies, we can only try to shield him from the flank. Speaking of Lin Ziasu, they reached the road and came before their little electric car. Suddenly, the 3 of them were startled. The little electric car was spotlessly clean, as if someone had wiped it down. On this road, with mining trucks coming and going, any car parked here would only need a few minutes to be covered with dust, but theirs had been parked for half a day and was still clean enough to reflect a person's image. This was unusual. It wasn't strange for parked cars to get stolen. but for someone to wipe it clean, that was strange indeed. Lin Ziasu's gaze turned to the shop in front of them, which had already closed. The lights were off, and in the dim light, an old man behind the glass gave them a thumbs up. Seeing this thumbs up, Lin Ziasu saw it, Miao Ruolen saw it, Josei saw it too. Other than the three of them, no fourth person saw it. Miao Ruolen and Lin Ziasu exchanged glances, both feeling something special. The Liu family had been tyrannical in the village. The harm the Liu family caused to the locals made people too afraid to speak out. Today, with their action of overthrowing this mountain, locals dared not come out openly to thank them, secretly wiping their car and giving them a thumbs up through the window. This was the embodiment of the local people's inner feelings. The car entered the county town. Lin Ziasu and Miao Ruolen dropped Josei at her classmate's door, then rode the small electric car back to the detective agency. Under the streetlights, Josei watched them leave, deep in thought. Chapter 81, The Robot with a Hidden Agenda. On the same night in Jiangcheng, the provincial capital of Dongchu Province. A high-rise building without the full cover of dark clouds, only a crescent moon in the sky. A woman in black held her smartphone, which was lightly trembling in her hand. Her beautiful face, that had just been wearing a charming smile, now had that smile completely vanished. "What's wrong?" The purple-dressed beauty across from her frowned slightly. "Something has happened at home." "How could something happen to your family?" The woman in purple said. "You must be joking, right? An ancient martial family with money, property, and countless connections. How could you have troubles?" "It really happened." The woman in black slowly lifted her head. "My dad and your three brothers were all crippled by someone at the same time. My mom got hurt by someone." "Don't panic, stay calm." The purple-dressed beauty finally turned serious. "Our Changsheng group is in the gene industry. Our hospitals are the province's top tier. Bring them over tonight and treat them first." The woman in black shook her head gently. "It's useless. If I'm not guessing wrong, the person who took action is proficient in ancient martial arts himself. He knows exactly how to strike at the vital points of ancient martial artists. He directly destroyed their spines and nerves, completely severing the possibility of recovery." "Are there still practitioners of ancient martial arts in Fengcheng?" "Who?" "Fengcheng Detective Agency, Lin Ziasu." The woman in black enunciated each word, while on top of the high-rise the wind blew fiercely. At this moment, it seemed as if the temperature had dropped by a few degrees. Also under this crescent moon, over the ocean at base 101. Behind the small courtyard of Changyi, there was a laboratory. Inside the lab there were two figures. One was dressed in a white lab coat, staring unblinkingly at the computer screen in front of them. The other figure stood in the experimental pool, alluring, her body completely bare. Oh no, she had a few silver conduits hanging from her, with pale red blood flowing through the tubes into her body, increasing her allure even more. This unclothed, conduit-adorned person was none other than Chang Yi. So who was the one in front of the computer, manipulating all sorts of data? She was also Chang Yi. Two figures, both of them were Chang Yi, just in two different states. The Chang Yi in front of the computer was her original appearance, while the Chang Yi standing in the experimental pool was the appearance she used when she went out on assignments. The two Chang Yis had some differences. In terms of beauty alone, the original Chang Yi was even more beautiful by threefold. Add some more nutrients to the buttocks, and the grapes on the chest need some enhancement too. Aim for that full S-curve. A little beauty jumped out from behind Chang Yi, stuffing a bunch of grapes into her mouth and then pointing with her free hand. She of course is Xinyu. In this laboratory, there were only the three of them. "Isn't that enough? It's not like this is a beauty pageant," said Chang Yi. "Are you stupid? What's the purpose of creating this plaything? It's to get Lin Zios excited, right? With a perkier butt and firmer breasts, wouldn't it speed up his hands on you? Oh right, the land of love is crucial, double the sensitivity of the nerves there. One touch and it'll be wet, making Lin Zios unable to let go after one go. He'll want 8 rounds a day." Chang Yi gave her a look of toothache. "I've said it before, this is just to protect Mrs. Lin, not for any disgraceful purposes." "You think you can fool me," Xinyu said. "If it wasn't for that purpose, why did you write a shared password into the program? Please tell me, Sister Chang, what exactly do you plan to share with this robot? If it's not for sharing the feelings of that filthy deed, could it be the joy of doing laundry, cooking, or gardening?" Chang Yi rubbed her forehead. "As a biological android, she is the world's first in many respects. Shouldn't I use a shared model to gain access to her tactile, olfactory, and gustatory information. Why do you always manage to perceive things from the most unspeakable viewpoint in such a high-end, classy, and sophisticated scientific experiment? Xinyu looked at her face and laughed, her eyebrows curving into a smile. There's no contradiction. While you share with the robot to obtain these data, you can also solve your longest-lasting problem, since you can't experience that taste with men. Let the robot get it on. You can participate through sharing. As she does it on her end, you hum along. This is called taking a roundabout path to a secluded spot. Get lost, Chang Yi kicked at her. Objectively speaking, Xinyu was projecting a lecher's heart onto a scientist's gut. Chang Yi really didn't have those thoughts. Yes, she is poison. Even a kiss from her to a man can pose a mortal danger, let alone lovemaking. But if she really wanted to experience that pleasure, she wouldn't be without alternatives. Would it be difficult to create a robot with male functions? It would be a simple task. Poison as she might be, a robot could withstand it. She is truly using a brilliant method to protect the Lin family. She is genuinely exploring the world's first full-spectrum sensory information from a biological intelligent robot. But there's no defense against Xinyu's reckless analysis. With such an analysis, even Chang Yi felt the urge to just seal the gate below on the robot, so she wouldn't end up embarrassed by her own scientific experiment. But after thinking it over for a long time, she decided against it. For an intelligent biological android, striving to follow the basic principles of humans, how could she alter its entire design over a mischievous comment from this naughty girl? At Fengcheng Detective Agency, when Lin Ziaosu was walking down from the second floor with his dashing strides, he saw two beautiful women chatting animatedly. Miao Rulen and Zhou. As soon as Miao Rulen saw him, she smiled. Didn't you say yesterday that we should hire someone? I found someone today. Lin Ziaosu was a bit surprised, looking at Zhou. Zhou stood up. I'm an employee who is easy to take care of. You don't need to pay me a salary, just provide food. Director Lin, would you like to hire me? Why this madness? Lin Ziaosu said. Because I plan to dedicate my whole life to avenging my parents' death, and even that might not be enough. To repay the kindness. Lin Ziaosu fully understood. Zhou continued. Last night when we left, that uncle he gave us a thumbs up through the glass window. I think that's also my intrinsic motivation for being willing to dive into things with all I've got. Lin Ziaosu's face slowly broke into a smile. Miao Rulen was overjoyed. You've agreed, haven't you? Lin Ziaosu smiled. $5,000 a month, and double that for overtime during holidays. Zhou was stunned. Miao Rulen was also stunned. Lin Ziaosu went on. What Rulen and I discussed yesterday was 4,000, which was the salary standard for ordinary people, but you were professionally trained, not just anyone, so that's an extra 1,000. Rulen, what do you think, is that all right? Miao Rulen nodded immediately. Yes. So it's decided then. Zhou said this won't do. I've already said I don't want a salary, I really mean it. Lin Ziaosu stopped her. We run a detective agency, and we're used to turning the page on past events, and not accustomed to stepping into the future with the shadows of the past. That's one thing, and then there's another. Which is? The other is, I like the people around me to be cheerful and sunny. Liking the people around her to be cheerful and sunny. Zhou felt as though her heart too had opened up, and a long mist ray of sunlight shone through, her eyes also bright as the morning light. But our detective agency doesn't have that much business. It wouldn't be right for me to accept such a high salary. Do you know why our detective agency doesn't have much business? Because I set the standard very early on, dedicated to high-end business. Although the quantity of business isn't large, we don't make a little amount of money. Lin Ziaosu said, last night, some money was transferred into our account. Miao Rulen was shocked. You have money transferred into your account. Recently, we helped the police with a case, and the state awarded us $10,000. It's been transferred. Miao Rulen and Zhou were very happy. Helping the police with cases wasn't just once or twice, and now finally there was a return, a financial return, which was great. This meant that the detective agency had found a second revenue channel, one that was the most legitimate, cleanest, and even the most sacred. Of course, they would not know that the so-called award for helping the police had nothing to do with the cases they helped Fengcheng police with a while back. How could county-level public security have such magnanimity? This was the reward Qianlong gave Lin Ziaosu last time for following Dongzi and finding the ant nest. Theoretically, This reward belonged personally to Lin Zaiasu, and he didn't have to put it into the detective agency's account. But Lin Zaiasu didn't take it alone. Why? There are probably two reasons. Firstly, the detective agency inevitably has to cooperate with the police force. Fengcheng police force is too poor to come up with the funds. He enthusiastically helped the police with cases, which was more or less voluntary work. Ryulan, although never complaining, wasn't her labor also labor. Jo Mei gets the police honor, so it's only fair that she gets paid. Secondly, it might still be due to the stubbornness he had at the beginning. Qianlong once refused him, and he didn't want to be indebted to Qianlong. So let things return to normal. He would work on behalf of Qianlong under the name of the detective agency, and Qianlong could deal with him openly. As for whether the money is much or little, to be honest, Lin Zaiasu didn't care that much anymore. What was the purpose of making money? To find a wife. Is finding a wife that hard? For the ordinary person, obviously it's quite hard, but for him, not really. If the rabbit wanted to nibble on the grass at his burrow's edge, the sight of Ryulan in her pajamas left much to the imagination. Even if the rabbit talks professional ethics and doesn't nibble the grass at his own burrow's edge, there are a lot of flowers and grasses outside. Even for someone as high-level as Sister Chang'ai, he felt like there was only a layer of protective clothing between them. Lin Zaiasu looked at their smiling faces and smiled too. You too, hurry up and go get your driving licenses. With this $10,000 we'll buy a car. The detective agency was going to have a car, no longer just riding the little electric scooter everywhere. This wasn't just about having a car, it was a sign that the company was truly getting on track. As for the driving license, it used to be difficult, requiring a theory test, training hours, and even bribing the instructor with cigarettes during practice. Now it's been simplified. Pass the theoretical exam, pass the skill test, and as long as your skills are good, you can get your license on the spot, doing away with the purely formalistic procedure of practice hours. In the following time, the detective agency gradually got more business. Perhaps the Fengcheng detective agency had finally made a name for itself. The entire Fengcheng knew if there are complicated issues, come to the detective agency, causing all sorts of perplexing issues to come along. Almost every day there were cases, sometimes one, sometimes two. Usually, one case could take several months to investigate. With cases happening every day, everyone should have been extremely busy, but the established conception of a detective was turned on its head at Fengcheng Detective Agency. Chapter 82. Chapter 82. There are still people in the Liu family. With Lin Zaiasu around, even the most complex cases are essentially resolved in a single trip, as he clarifies the case's intricacies clearly and plainly. Even when Lin Zaiasu is not present, Miao Ryulan and Zhou Zai can quickly take over, and although their professional expertise is not as magical as Lin Zaiasu's, they are certainly not novices. Miao Ryulan, having worked with Lin Zaiasu on some major cases, has an unusual intuition about the key points of the cases, and under the basic guidance of following Detective Lin, she diligently studied exploration science and criminal investigation science, solidifying her foundational skills. And Zhou Zai, her field of study is law. She's an undeniable expert in legal matters within cases, and together they handle cases with great momentum. As the saying goes, it's not difficult for the expert. Those who excel in their professions are naturally meant to enjoy a comfortable and free life. Even though Fengcheng Detective Agency has plenty of cases, there are no signs of them being particularly busy. Miao Ryulan and Zhou Zai even have spare time to practice driving. Occasionally, Lin Zaiasu would accompany a client on a visit and then return to read in the library, handling cases as easily as sweeping fallen leaves, and reading was the same. No book ever stayed in his hands for more than an hour. Half a day would see him through half a shelf of books. Such were the days for more than a dozen days. It was now late June. Lin Zaiasu, as usual, was reading in the library. He was reading a botany book, having seen many on the subject at Qianlong 101, but different publishing houses and research teams focus on different aspects. And another book finished. As Lin Zaiasu returned the book to the shelf, his gaze paused momentarily on a reading room across from him, where there once was a person, but now there was none. This person was Ding Ruoshui. Her father was Ding Lijong. Her father was one of the three founders of Changsheng Group, specializing in biological engineering, and having astounding insights into chip control. Someone like Ding Ruishui theoretically shouldn't appear in a small, remote county like Fengcheng. Her stage should be in Jiangcheng or even Beijing. But she came here, read books in the library, had encounters with Lin Ziyaasu, even gave him a painting, and when she left, Lin Ziyaasu saw something magical through the reverse time. She killed a troublesome mosquito with a single strand of hair. From the perspective of ancient martial, Miao Ruolan had said, this is an immortal's technique. What was her purpose in approaching him? This was Lin Ziyaasu's early doubt. He stepped out of the library, going back to the detective agency. Inside the detective agency was only one person, Josei. Where is Ruolan? Ruolan is testing. She said she must pass today. Josei poured him a cup of tea. She learns driving really quickly. And you? I'm much worse. My instructor even scolded me yesterday. Josei said. Could it be that practicing ancient martial also makes brain cells particularly active? What, do you also want to learn ancient martial? Well, please talk to Ruolan, see if she would be willing to teach me. Josei's eyes lit up. That you should discuss with her yourself. There's no such taboo. I also learned from her when I approached her, and she agreed immediately. Who can compare with you? Who are you in her heart? Josei glanced at him meaningfully. Oh, suddenly, a voice came from the entrance of the detective agency. Another beauty has joined. Josei lightly jumped like a rabbit and turned around to see a beautiful female police officer coming in. Jo Mei. It had been more than 10 days since Jo Mei's last visit. Officer Joe, Josei brought her a cup of tea. Jo Mei was surprised. You recognize me. Josei smiled lightly. 10 days ago we met at Beiyang village, inside Liu's villa. Jo Mei's eyes widened. Oh, it's you, Josei. I must say, Detective Lin, your detective agency is truly a place of good fortune. In just 10 days, you've transformed a disheveled, distressed village girl into a radiant, blooming flower. Indeed, today's Josei was completely different from that day. Back then, her complexion was pale, unkempt, her eyes bloodshot on the verge of collapse. Today, she was fresh and beautiful, vibrant and youthful like an early-bloomed flower. If Josei had not directly revealed her identity and mentioned their encounter that night, Jo Mei genuinely wouldn't have recognized her on the street. Lin Ziyaasu smiled. Hurry up and quit that lousy job of yours. Come work for me. I'll also turn you into a blooming flower. Jo Mei glanced sideways at him. I'm already a blooming flower. Why would I need your care? All right, you are a blooming flower, but why have you come today? Going upstairs to take a look, Jo Mei carried the teacup upstairs. Lin Ziyaasu knew her intent and followed. Upstairs, Jo Mei pushed open the door to Miao Ruolan's room. The next moment, she opened another room, which also showed signs of someone living there. Lin Ziyaasu didn't know what to say to her. Every time you come over, you check the room first. What's the meaning of that? I'm the landlord. A landlord has the right to be gravely concerned about messy sexual relations happening in the rental property. Do landlords have that kind of power? How could they not? Maybe not for others, but for those who practice ancient martial, it's a must, Jo Mei said. I only just found out that people who practice ancient martial can cause a huge commotion, enough to damage the structural integrity of the house. If you and Miao Ruolan were to make noise in the middle of the night, that would be unbearable. Lin Ziyaasu entered his own room with a face-covering gesture. My God, making noise and ruining the structural integrity of the house. That must be fierce. The door closed, and Jo Mei sat down on the chair by the desk. Lin Ziyaasu sat on the bed. Both had lost the relaxed, leisurely expressions they had before. Jo Mei began, Today, I came to tell you a few things about Dell Company and the Liu family. Go ahead. The owner of Dell Company, Du Lifeng, is dead. This statement should have been startling, because it was something nobody in Fengcheng knew about. But Lin Ziyaasu just slightly frowned. When did he die? He was fine getting into the car, but 10 miles down the road, he suddenly died. There was a chip planted in his brain, and it exploded and killed him. Exactly. Lin Ziyaasu had actually guessed it already. Whether it was him or Chang Yi, the failure to arrange the police to block signals in advance was because they simply couldn't block them. If they had managed to get him into a sealed room with special equipment immediately, there might have been a slim chance to fight for interrogation time through hacking battles with the opponents. But on the road, there was no way to block the signals, and once the opponents knew he was captured, they would initiate the self-destruct immediately, and not even immortals could stop it. Jo Mei elaborated on this issue. The project at Dell Company had issues and had been completely halted. But with the main person in charge dead, the others knew nothing about the project. However, there's a gain. Lin Ziasu raised his head. What? The kidnapping cases in Fengcheng are now linked to the last chain, Zhou Mei said. Do you remember the first child kidnapping case you involved? It turned out that genetic people were involved. Now it's confirmed. The genetic person was instructed by Du Lifeng's driver, Dongzi. There's even more terrifying organization behind this. They specialize in kidnapping talented children, training them from a young age to be assassins for their organization. These assassins are key chess pieces for the Blood Spear Plan, an overseas organization planning to use these children from Daxia to penetrate Daxia's defenses. These, Lin Ziasu had actually guessed already. But he showed timely surprise. Zhou Mei said, I must say in the vast ocean of people, the point you caught was spot on. Du Lifeng's driver, that person named Dongzi, single-handedly connected two major cases. Lin Ziasu nodded slightly. That's the vision of a detective god. I can praise you, but you can't boast yourself. I understand the principle, but what can I do if you never praise me? Zhou Mei chuckled. I just can't stand your smug little attitude. I must knock you down a peg. Out of the 3 kidnapped children in Fengcheng, we managed to rescue one on the spot, but 2 were taken by them. One of the children was named Liu Kao, with whom you somehow got involved. Liu Kao, a member of the Liu family, right? Yes, he is the 4th son of Liu Yuancheng. By now, he must have entered the secret training base of 9-headed snake. If he comes out in the future and finds out his father and 3 brothers were defeated by you. Zhou Mei didn't continue, just quietly looked at him. Lin Ziasu said, he was 10 years old when he disappeared, right? Yes, a 10-year-old who isn't really a child anymore. He already understands matters. That's fine, I'm not afraid of him understanding things. I fear if he doesn't. This topic was significant, but it was only briefly mentioned because Zhou Mei didn't know something that Lin Ziasu did. The child named Liu Kao had already escaped from the control of 9-headed snake at Yuntai Mountain Ant Nest, rescued personally by Lin Ziasu. Now he wasn't at the secret base of 9-headed snake, he was at Qianlong. In the setting of Qianlong, he was the one who alters the course. His future destination was Qiulong. If he truly understood matters, he would know that Lin Ziasu wasn't his enemy, but rather his benefactor. If he truly had the greater good of his country in his heart, he would also understand that his former home, his father, his 3 brothers, purely brought it upon themselves. Zhou Mei nodded softly. He's only 10 for now. Even if he has any intersection with you, it would be many years in the future. Let's talk about the urgent matters now. The Liu family doesn't just have 4 sons. There is also a daughter. Her name is Liu Kaiengsun. She's currently in Changsheng Group and has a rather intricate relationship with the upper echelons of Changsheng Group. Oh, how intricate! Lin Ziasu took interest. Anything related to Changsheng Group held his interest. The chairman of Changsheng Group, Li Changsheng, has 3 sons and a daughter. His daughter, named Li Zi, is college best friends and close friends with Liu Kaiengsun. After graduating, Liu Kaiengsun joined Changsheng Group, effectively Li Zi's assistant as well as a bodyguard. Moreover, there's gossip that the 3rd son of Li Changsheng is frantically pursuing this Miss Kaienzun. The best friend of the daughter of the chairman of Changsheng Group, and also a suitor of a Changsheng Group heir, this girl does have some tactics. Lin Ziasu expressed his admiration. Indeed, being an ancient martial inheritor, she indeed has her own weight. With the backing of these powerful figures, her influence might be beyond your imagination, Zhou Mei said. This is actually the real purpose of my visit today, to give you a heads up. Lin Ziasu asked, the people of the Liu family, how are they? Zhou Mei gently shook her head. When you make your move, you should know the result. Despite your gentle looks, your moves are indeed ruthless. Chapter 83. Chapter 83. Daughter-in-law moves in. Liu family's 4th son, Ding Quan, is ruined. Modern medicine offers no possibility of cure. The evidence of the Liu family's crimes has been essentially confirmed, and they can now be transferred to the judicial authorities for sentencing. However, this sentencing is not very meaningful. All it'll do is sentence them to many years in prison, but considering their current condition, how can they go to jail? Sentencing them means the state provides their medical care. If not, they have to pay for it themselves. So they were allowed medical bail. Currently, they are lying in a hospital under Changsheng Group, located in Jiangcheng, named Changsheng Hospital. Changsheng Hospital, Lin Ziasu spat out 4 words. Zhou Mei caught his glance. Are you worried they might be cured? Theoretically, their martial arts cultivation is already wasted, but forget it, let's talk about the Liu family's assets. The Liu family's assets are also ruined. Through investigation, it was found that the Liu family's permits were obtained through illegal means. Those involved in taking bribes in those years have been arrested. The quarry has been sealed, a bunch of illegal activities were uncovered, and the Liu family's accounts have been frozen with tens of millions seized. The remaining assets are probably not enough even to compensate the villagers. Oh, by the way, the beautiful young lady here could theoretically get compensation too. But you don't need to tell her that now. If she knows she has money, she might just run away and you'd be in trouble. This statement had elements of truth as well as jest. Lin Ziasu was speechless and stared at her. In your eyes, am I someone who harms any woman I catch? Zhou Mei nodded lightly. Seems like it. You've slept in my bed. Have I ever harmed you? You want to harm me, but I run fast and you never managed. Zhou Mei blinked her eyes. Damn, can't even chat today. I'm going downstairs. Time passed like this again. June passed unhurriedly. The sweltering heat of July slowly steamed under the shade of the northern parasol trees. The 2 ladies in the detective agency had already switched to summer attire, becoming more and more elegant. They finally got their driver's licenses. The day after getting their licenses, Lin Ziasu took them to a newly opened car market in the south of the city and bought a sky blue car for 130,000 yuan. This car was the detective agency's business car. Women's version. Upon returning, the 2 women speculated about Lin Ziasu's intentions in their rooms, both hearts throbbing uncontrollably. Because they knew the car was basically bought for them. July 7th. When the sun was setting, Lin Ziasu suddenly received a phone call. As soon as he took the call, his expression turned a bit strange, reaching out to Miao Ruolan. Let me borrow your little electric bike. Just drive there, said Miao Ruolan. No need, I'm going home for a bit. The roads are narrow there. Riding is more convenient than driving. Taking the keys of Miao Ruolan's electric bike, he stylishly rode back home. This trip home was prompted by a call from his mom. The content of the call was quite explosive. His mom told him, Little Yi is here, she even brought her luggage. What the hell are you up to not coming back with her? Hurry up, get your ass home and keep your wife company. One sentence full of joy. One sentence, happiness spread beyond the screen. Why? What a joyous big event. The son's girlfriend coming over on her own, bringing luggage, intending to stay for long. What does this mean? It's a good thing coming true. If she wasn't entirely devoted to their son, which girl would do this? Lin Mu was so delighted. It was as if she had become 20 years younger. She almost wanted to grab little Yi's hand and walk around Old Tashan village 3 times. Lin Ziasu, upon hearing this news, felt quite flustered. Because he knew the person who arrived was not Chang Yi, but an intelligent bio-robot. Her purpose was not to cultivate a relationship with him, but to enact Qianlong's orders to protect his family. He had done some work for Qianlong, so Qianlong protecting his family was morally justifiable and conformed to Qianlong's policies. However, little Yi, creating this bodyguard in your own image and having her stay at Lin family's home under the guise of a daughter-in-law. Certainly there are plenty of benefits, the biggest being, it doesn't stand out in the village. But there are drawbacks too, the biggest being, how can I, Lin Ziasu, flirt with other women? In the eyes of others, he now has a wife who moved directly into his home to care for his mother. Does it make sense to have a firm flag at home while waving colorful flags outside? But it's unjust. That flag at home, is it even a flag? No. Is she a wife? No way, she isn't even human. Even Sen Lengzi's mom knows the 3 major criteria for finding a daughter-in-law. Female, alive, knows to run home when it rains. What the hell did I get into? Lin Ziasu rode the little electric bike swiftly back to his courtyard, his eyes slightly blank. Little Yi, with an apron tied around, was washing clothes. From any angle she looked like a living person, and with his heavenly Tao wisdom eye, he could even see the airflow of her breath, the hands in the water also totally lifelike. When Lin Ziasu returned, little Yi, let's call her that to distinguish her from Chang Yi. Little Yi turned around, smiling sweetly. Little Su, you're back. His mom ran out of the house, her eyes barely visible from smiling. Son, little Yi brought all her changes of clothes. She just told Mom she's going to stay here permanently, really. Okay, Lin Ziasu struggled to express. Dinner is ready, and the dishes are still cooked by Little Yi. Little Yi's culinary skills are much better than your mom's. I think they are even better than those head chefs in the city. Little Yi, come eat. I'll wash the clothes later. It's okay, I'm almost done washing, you guys go ahead and eat, Little Yi sweetly replied. How could that be okay? You are the most esteemed guest. Auntie, I'm not a guest anymore. With that, Lin Mu laughed again. The clothes were washed and hung up, dinner was eaten. At the dinner table, Lin Ziasu was very enthusiastic, actively serving food for Little Yi, who ate it. Lin Ziasu was a bit bewildered. She really could eat a lot. She finished 2 small bowls of rice, ate quite a lot of dishes, and even had the braised pork. Just this meal alone would make it hard for anyone to suspect that she was a robot. After dinner, Lin Ziasu and Little Yi went upstairs to the room. Lin Mu, under the faint starlight, went out cheerfully for a walk. She would probably tell anyone she met. My daughter-in-law has come. She's staying at home with my son. I'm just going out for a walk, not to disturb their world of two. In the room on the 2nd floor, Lin Ziasu finally faced Little Yi. You're a biological intelligence robot, aren't you? Lin Ziasu said. Yes, this is a secret that I can only tell you. Little Yi gently smiled. Where does your intelligence manifest? There's a lot stored in my database. 8 great cuisines, laundry, cooking, gardening skills, medical skills, and of course, her main profession, grappling and firearms. Her bones are similar to human bone structures but have been greatly enhanced. Her muscles are fully synthetic, and nerves and blood vessels cover her body just like a human. The only difference between her and a real human is probably just the brain. She doesn't have a brain, she has a bionic processor. It is because of this that she can learn so many unimaginable skills. Her method of learning is by directly uploading this data into the processor. Lin Ziasu's eyes twinkled as she looked at her face, her hair, her whole body with a bit of exploration. What are you looking at? Little Yi asked him. I didn't notice any ports on your body. I do have ports, do you want to use them? What do you mean, do I want to use them? Are the ports on your body meant for me to use? You still seem to have some language issues. No language issues. These ports are prepared for you, and my program only allows you alone to use them. Little Yi blinked and told him, her tone slightly playful. What do you mean? Little Yi spread her legs, pointing inside. This is prepared for you. Lin Ziasu, looking at her infinitely tempting posture, felt his body a bit uncontrollable. My goodness, I mean, the port for electricity. Oh, Little Yi said, I don't need a port for electricity. Normal food converted into biological electricity can sustain my needs. Of course, if there's intense fighting, I can also supplement my energy using AC power just like this. Her 2 fingers stretched towards the power outlet on the table. The lights in the room flickered, and she emitted a faint glow all over her body. This was charging. Usually it's not needed, only in special circumstances. Lin Ziasu gently inhaled. Little Yi, is your body really just like a human's? There are similarities and differences. Do you need me to list them? No need for a list, just let me ask you this, can you have children? That mainly depends on you. If you want me to have children, I will have children for you. I can have up to 5 offspring at a time, and I can control the gender. Lin Ziasu was dumbfounded. Such a daughter-in-law is probably every mother-in-law's favorite. Not capricious, not bargaining, good at housework, farm work, even able to cook the 8 great cuisines and able to have up to 5 sons in one go. If there's food, we'll eat food. If no food, we'll eat husks, and even without husks, charging is also fine. So easy to support. Which mother-in-law wouldn't like that? Mrs. Lin, unaware of these unbelievable functionalities of her daughter-in-law, was still excited throughout the night. She slept on the 1st floor, calling Lin Ziasu's father in the middle of the night, her voice very low, as not to disturb the intimacy of her son and daughter-in-law. But she would never have imagined that her son was practicing martial arts on the floor the entire night. Little Yi slept on the bed, no different from normal humans. The next morning, Lin Ziasu bathed, changed into clean clothes, went downstairs, and Little Yi was in the yard washing Lin Ziasu's clothes with a basin, a light smile on her face, looking very content. Mrs. Lin was so happy. Lin Ziasu said, the detective agency just picked up a case. I might be a bit busy during this time, so I won't be coming back. Mrs. Lin furrowed her brow. Not coming back at night either. Not coming back. Little Yi chimed in. Auntie, he has important matters to handle, please agree. Mrs. Lin sighed deeply. Little Yi, I mainly feel that since you've just come, he should spend more time with you. It's okay, I like it when he works hard. Well, that's true. After all, the detective agency is something for both of you, and it will be your property in the future. Mrs. Lin turned around, and Lin Ziasu quickly hopped onto his electric bike and sped away.